talk about stuff. We're going live.
Odds and sods episode.
Yeah.
I'm sure we've done odds
I'll,
and sods before.
I'll do some more thing on. Can do.
But here we go. So this
hello.
is. He says he worked for 10 years as a molecular biologist for a national security contractor in a program to study exobiospheric organisms. So ALAMALs.
Exobiology.
So which one was the guy with the green hoodie?
Is there going to be a run on green hoodies? Like everyone's going to wear green hoodies on the plane from now on.
I want my turquoise tracksuit.
I did say someone.
That helps you with yogic. That helps you with yogic flying, doesn't it?
I did say someone's suit.
Turquoise is a powerful colour.
Mother trucking reptilians on the plane.
Good evening and welcome to another Fortean Words. I've got a Fortean question for you.
Time?
That white powder found in the White House. How could it possibly have got there?
Oh.
Have you seen the police? The police have gone. Yeah, it's cocaine. Oh no, it got here. No.
Can we? This isn't the first time a suspicious white substance was found in the White House. I think in 2001.
I think last time it was on Monica Lewinsky's desk, wasn't it?
Oh no!
Dress.
That was a white substance, but it wasn't a white powder. There was a white powder.
But that wasn't cheating. Jizzing on a bird's dress is not cheating.
Anthrax powder was mailed to the White House in 2000.
Well, apparently, somebody who doesn't have the initials, absolutely doesn't have the initials HB, may have caused a massive panic at the White House because they evacuated because they found this white powder.
In a completely unrelated event, Hunter Biden was seen in Washington DC that day.
He was in the West Wing of the White House, wasn't he? Where was the powder found?
And I'd just like to say...
Hobbit, you are a conspiracy theorist? That is a conspiracy theory that Hunter Biden...
And also, I want to disavow any possible accusations that he would have cocaine on him, because as we all know, he prefers crack, allegedly.
I was going to make exactly the same joke. That's not mine, that's cocaine. It's not crack.
Yeah. He prefers his coke in freebase form.
Yeah. The patrician choice. Oh,
well, the opposite patrician, the plebeian choice.
Yeah. Also, the riots in France, they're a conspiracy theory, because if you try and talk to anybody in French social media, good luck to you.
Yeah, no, this is just a conspiracy theory, and I won't believe it until BBC Verify tell me I'm wrong. By the way, hello, Mariana.
Can we get
big
Mariana as guest? Yeah.
Big fan. You should come on the show. We can talk about chemtrails and vaccines and anything else you're interested in. Yeah. Sorry, brain not working. That's it. Right. In France, the response has been, I don't. What if I actually had
hold on a minute. I'm just having a look at Mariana's thing. She's done this Front Lines of Conspiracy Land, and the blurbs. This is weird. BBC Radio 4, Mariana's Conspiracy Land Front Lines. What are the obstacles that stand between journalists and the truth? It's usually their career. Isn't it?
That's. I was going to say,
right?
The editor. Can I read this article and do my translation, or do you just want the summary of what happened in France or hasn't happened in France?
Go on then.
Go on then. Tell us some more conspiracy theory. I heard it was a protest because a youth was shot because policeman bad.
Yes, police are very bad for trying to impose a sense of law and order. This is from Challenge is l'économie de demain.
What is French for hands up, don't shoot?
You know what? Ne dirais pas mettez main dans l'air. It seems a bit to know. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I'd want to shoot you if you said that, to be honest.
Émeutes. Nous avons mis une pression maximale aux réseaux sociaux, affirmé Jean-Noël Barrot. So we have put a maximum pressure on social networks, affirms Jean-Noël Barrot. Le ministre du
Can I just
numérique...
interrupt with some Mariana news? Like, for someone who's fighting for the truth on a daily basis, why hasn't she tweeted since July the last time she tweeted was July the 4th?
Now,
That's 2 days ago, right?
BBC Verify hasn't said it's because she's having a soul.
Oh, sorry, July the
and is
5th.
embarrassed.
For some reason, the July 4th tweet is at the top. Oh, she retweeted a tweet from July the 4th. She's retweeting her own tweets.
BBC Verify can neither confirm nor deny that she's having a sulk, and that's just a vicious conspiracy theory. Right, so in the summary in English, by the way, is the president asked us to put maximum pressure on the social networks. Response has been made to rapidly remove reported content. These emergency measures will become mandatory on the 25th of August under penalty of sanctions. We have to admit that our demands have been heard and that the major platforms are taking action. So, carry on. So, the Ministre du Numérique, I assume that's IT Minister, revient après des challenges sur la convocation des représentants des réseaux sociaux vendredi soir face à MUT. I have no idea what MUT means, but anyway, Friday evening he said, look, I've come up with a plan. Force, c'est constater que nos demandes ont été entendues et que des mesures sont prises par les grandes plateformes.
Is banning Facebook, is that part of liberty, fraternity, egality?
Yeah. So you see, in the Nouvelle Cinquième République, the liberté, égalité, fraternity means you may not post anything of the manifestations, because they don't call them riots, they call them manifestations. Sur les sites réseaux sociaux comme Twitter, Instagram, Facebook et qu'est-ce que l'autre?
For people that love a good riot, you would have thought there'd be one of those people that had like 15 different words for the word riot, wouldn't you?
I think their own language makes them fucking riot. Like, Jesus Christ.
No, Gérald Darmanin has said it brings out the wild in the Dindu, which is funny.
Can we just appreciate these people had an empire at one point? People that spoke like this ruled over most of Europe.
Smuggler said, I do not appreciate you to them. Interesting enough, it's not just Facebook, Instagram and the other ones, right? It says here, alors que le projet de la numérique vient d'être adopté en Sénat, so they've got a Senate in France, et avant un éventuel blocage judiciaire de Pornhub et YouPorn sur le 7e juillet prochain. So they've already had a judicial block on Pornhub and YouPorn on Juliet. Juliet.
They really do want people fucking writing, don't they?
Writing, don't they? Yeah.
What's
and he knows to placate the masses, not.
This is real conspiracy hours. What has Pornhub done to piss everybody off? Because I was listening to Michael Knowles earlier, and he said that Pornhub's been you have to verify yourself with a card, and Pornhub aren't very happy. It appears everybody's going at Pornhub at the minute. So what the fuck's going on? This is the question.
Did Pornhub do an Andrew Tate? Is that what's going on?
I think they. Well, so that's not usually a problem, though, is it? You know, as we all know, Ghislaine
Lolita Express.
As we know, Ghislaine Maxwell trafficked people to nobody, didn't she?
That's right.
So they're not that bothered about it, are they?
But did Pornhub get on the plane? That's the question.
Did they put their foot down and said, "Look, no paedophilia on our channels," and that was it? That's why they pissed off the elites.
It says just a list of things that they're saying. So, they spoke with representatives of TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, Meta. Meta's the new name for Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And they spoke with them a Friday evening. So that was what on the 30th last month. Nous l'avons mis une pression maximum pressure. So in other words, we put maximum pressure on them, saying, look, if there's any footage showing the activities going on in France, don't do it. Oh, and there's also going to be like an evening curfew. You can't use the internet to upload stuff in the evening.
Would it be the police enforcing that evening curfew?
Well, this is on the internet, so it'll be the internet service providers. Now, I've reached out to a few of my French chums. Salut, my French chums. How do you do? And they've said so far they haven't noticed any changes, but they'll let me know if anything.
But maybe you should try and ask him after 6 o'clock when the curfew goes into effect.
Actually, you know what? No, it's after 7 o'clock. So yeah, that is 6 o'clock.
Oh, you got another. Well, you got another hour yet.
Yeah.
No.
It's now.
Oh, 6
now,
o'clock.
Right?
Oh, yeah. So it is now. Yeah.
So I'll tell you what. I'll just say to them.
Alphabet Cat says, "Bonsoir, Monsieur Beat."
I can't believe these people had an empire. I mean, you know.
Can you believe?
Yeah, but
can you believe they won more battles than any other country in the whole world? But we had 3/4 of the globe.
Fraser, you know, like you say that, but Isn't
Haiti their fault?
No, actually, Haiti is the fault of Le Noir. Thomas Jefferson wanted to do a Minecraft on Haiti after what happened, and the US Congress said, we're not going to get involved in the affairs of France, we're just going to keep to ourselves.
Yeah,
it would be nice if they kept to that isolationist policy. I'll send a message out to my French chums, see what they say.
Did you want to know?
Right,
did you want to know
just
what?
A minute.
Oh, go on.
Just back to the thing I was going to ask Fraser. We too used to be a serious empire at one point, but now the Bank of England.
I could never see us like you know, in terms of dictatorial. You know, they say like imperial kind of like rule. Like I'd never expect people speaking like the French to be, you know, imperialist.
Yeah. But then you look at how the Americans take the piss out of us for using words like codswallop and stuff.
True. But they use like fanny pack and shit like that, don't they?
And Saratoga and succotash. So you know, they can go fuck themselves with cheese whiz. Don't say fuck or bugger. Now, the Bank of England recently has come out and saying that anyone can be a woman, and I thought, well, that's an interesting statement for the Bank of England. And this also happens to be the same.
We've seen cheaper bank accounts.
Have you seen that hashtag Goodbye Twitter is trending? Because Elon Musk has said, go on then.
Elon Musk has done rate limits, which coincides with this would be a useful time to upload stuff from France. But now, because of rate limits, people that are uploading, they're only limited to a certain amount of the day. Just back onto the thing about the Bank of England talking about gender ideology. This comes in the same week that Nigel Farage has been unpersoned from various banks in the UK.
Well, I don't know about the absolute truth of it, but I have heard that he didn't have because you to bank at Coutts you have to have a certain amount of money in there.
Yeah, but then other people have said they bank there.
Right.
And they haven't
had in Coutts you have to have at least £1 million. However, other bank accounts you do not need £1 million to have an account with them. So why 9 bank accounts closing on him?
Yeah, but is it though? I mean, is he going to come out with a gravy-stained letter going, Yorkshire tea done me?
So, but also, isn't it kind of just the fact that I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think he's a Laura Towler, and I just find it a shame that seeing he bragged about closing BNP. On the other hand,
I would say that to quote that hackneyed fucking poem, you know, when they came for the far right, Nigel Farage did nothing.
Yeah.
Well, it should have been understood with Alex Jones, and then prior to Alex Jones,
exactly.
Internet nice guy Andrew Anglin getting unpersoned. Nobody knows who Andrew Anglin is, so you just
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
It's a Fortean subject, all right. Because when I hear this stuff, I just think,
but it all feeds into the New World Order stuff, doesn't it?
When I hear this stuff, I just imagine the banks doing
you knew, they didn't know, but we knew that they were coming for the milquetoast conservatives. The left.
Yeah.
The left doesn't stop anywhere. The left carries on.
Well, the left doesn't stop until everyone's dead, starving, or in a gulag.
Yeah. I don't even know if it is the left. I think they get their comeuppance as well eventually. Once
Yeah, you've seen some of the sentences being handed out to just stop oil.
Yeah.
I like to think I'm a leftist, but I know where it leads to, so I don't associate.
Did you see that?
With these,
Did you see that debate on I think it was GB News, where the bloke was debating with a Just Stop Oil? He said, "What are you even after? They're already doing what you want. What are you doing?" It was basically what he said to the Just Stop Oil guy.
Yeah, but they're more like the extreme fringe, aren't they? The left wing, I'd say that no matter what they do, it's not good enough kind of thing. They want it now kind of thing.
Yeah,
not I should 10 years.
I should go to some of these protests, not because I'm got strong ideologies one way or another, but the thing is, if you go to a protest, that's it's a good way to meet
I think
chicks.
You'd be good at the I'm just asking questions guy, where you just ask questions like the awkward questions. I think you'd be good.
I'm literally there to just go, gosh, she looks all right. Hey, shall we discuss some more about the environment?
You see my jag?
My
environmental jag. Yeah.
Hey, why don't we talk more about the environmentalism in my jag?
Did you want to the NPCs of, because Mariana Spring is doing the Lord's work? Have you seen the NPCs?
Sorry, it's just every time you say Mariana, I keep thinking of Curtis.
I keep thinking Mariana Trench every time.
Mariana Trench.
It's
a bit harsh.
She's gaping.
It's a bit harsh. Mariana's Trench. Dear Mariana Spring, that podcast series was really, really good. It's like a look into some weird parallel world that's closer than I thought. Thanks. She actually went through the effort of retweeting that one. I've just been listening to Mariana Spring series, and episode 4 starts with a bloke saying, "We are living in an entirely deceptive world. That's the reason. They believe that everything is a deception."
Now, look.
Okay, my roll, please. Thank you.
I've been thinking a bit more about the Mariana Trench, and my logic may be a bit
Mariana's Trench or the Mariana Trench?
Well, see where this goes, right? My logic may be a bit skew-whiff here, but just bear with me, right? So you know how there's a particularly malodorous fart is described as a Welsh fog?
Yeah.
Because it's sort of it just sort of permeates and sticks to the ground like a Welsh fog. Now, I'm thinking the Mariana Trench, what would be in the deepest part of the ocean, and Welsh fogs and all that, should it actually be described as the Mariana Stench?
Hobbit, can you do a Mariana? See if you can do a Mariana voice and read this one out. Hold on, just gotta get.
I sense you're going to ask me to read a story out.
There you go. I've just copy pasted it. It's from Mariana directly. So if you want to do a Mariana Spring voice.
Yes.
Hold on. Before you do that, I've got another one here. The pod takes me from Totnes to Berlin. Does it take in Totnes once or twice? You know about the Totnes stuff with Mariana Spring, don't you, Fraser?
No, I don't actually.
Oh, she said that Sargon went there once. He went there everybody once, and everybody stood up to him. But the second time he had his hypnotic moustache on, and he turned everybody into far right neon Nazis. But Sargon only went there once.
Wait, Is she also like the woman on the plane where she's like convinced the man's talking to her? So she's convinced Sargon's been to Totnes twice, and everyone in Totnes is just be like,
what has she got hard on for Sargon for?
Yeah, he's literally Hitler. What are you talking about?
Well, he's not just that. He's a the thing about Sargon is he's actually a hardcore
Frithwolf thinks we should
rename
it the Mariana Gash.
Mariana Stench. DOA, if you're listening, I could do with you reading out this bit. Overwhelmed by how many are listening to Radio 4's Mariana Conspiracy Land. Willing to see us ahead, including with trolls. I expose radicalisation of the UK conspiracy movement, investigating a conspiracy theory paper and exposing connections and harm. I shop at Waitrose, I do.
So Mariana again says, so brilliant to see the podcast rising up the charts. She says the Apple podcast, and I don't know whether this might be a conspiracy theory. Maybe Forbes can clear this up for us. But I'm pretty sure you can buy influence on the Apple charts, can't you?
Don't know.
Nope. It's probably a conspiracy theory.
Next week, 14 words trying on the Apple charts.
15 straight weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, God, don't, because there's a guy at work, I called him the pimply-faced youth, and he's saying me, he's into true crime podcasts, and if ours becomes the number one, then it's like the Dennis Nielsen and Myra Henley episode. You'd be like, I recognise that voice. And you'll go be like, those are some non-sanctioned opinions you've got there, Mr. Hobbit, sir.
It's just, she retweets people that go, oh, you're great, you are, Mariana.
Oh,
what a fucking sad bitch.
Yeah.
Mrs. Mariana, could I have a crumb of minge, please?
Oh, God. What am I uncovering on Twitter now? Apparently, it's okay to call people a cunt on Twitter. At Elon Musk, you want everyone calling you a cunt? Please fix this. What the fuck? What are these people? Like, why are people just let on the internet and not given any kind of training wheels? They don't know what the fuck. They don't know what a block button is. They can't take fucking banter. What the hell is going on the internet?
I discussed this with famous internet schizophrenic Phil, and I agree with him on this. Normies don't need the internet; they just need CFAX.
Yeah.
Give normies the version of CFAX where they can write comments to one another. Leave it at that, and actually, no, not comments. You have to write them as letters to BBC.
Isn't that Facebook? Just Facebook.
But no, Facebook's like the cat pictures and boring shit like that. No. What CFAX? You need CFAX, right? You just have CFAX, and the editors choose what pictures are going to be there.
Yeah.
You can have CFAX holidays, teletext holidays.
Yeah, you can browse, but with training wheels on. I mean, that's really.
And this is the problem you see. People go into the internet and thinking it's just like CFAX, but then it goes like. No, there's like
then they get
on the
called
internet,
and then that's it. Their life's over.
Went on the internet and someone used a rude word. My day is ruined.
I'm writing to Terry Wogan now.
I'm looking at the BBC and I'm in the and for some reason the Africa section has France riots fueled by everyday discrimination. To be fair, they look like they're fueled by petrol.
Emmanuel Macron, who describes himself as the Jupiter, said,
No way. Did he actually say that?
Yes.
My life.
Le Jupiter. So, Mr.
Who is Yevgeny Prigozhin?
Oh, is he the guy of Wagner? Mr. Prigozhin.
Oh, is he fucking hell, he's let himself go since X Factor, isn't he?
So
what's happened to his lovely head of hair that Wagner used to have?
The president of France, Le Jupiter, said, I blame violent video games for this.
No, not again, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, he's blaming GTA for it. So are we going to discuss the green hooded man in the room?
Yeah, go on. Let's talk about reptilians on a plane. Yeah.
Reptilians.
I'm tired of these. I'm tired of these.
You know, if I was a cleverer man, I'd have made some fucking gag about the genus of snakes, but I can't. So
well,
there's got to be like a bovine version of snake for snakes. Anyway,
Minotaur on the plane.
Yeah. Anyway, go on then, take it away, Fraser. This is your baby.
I mean, I don't. Well, yeah. What can we say? Like, there's been this thing on TikTok, like in the last few days, about this woman on a plane.
Is that where it started? TikTok?
Yeah. It was on TikTok, obviously. That was fucking. I only found it through Twitter, but it seems to have originated on TikTok, or that it was uploaded there. And there's this woman. I don't know.
I do have an artist's impression of it.
Can you get up the video, or
I shall do in a sec, but I've got an artist impression of it up at the minute.
All right. Yeah, I know what you put on. It's a fucking. All right. Yeah. So
this is an AI artist depiction of what happened on the plane.
It seems to have originated on TikTok. This woman on a plane who gets distraught for some reason. In the original video, because it's not her obviously taking it, it's someone else on the plane like recording her as she gets up out of her seat and runs to the front of the plane, screaming about how she needs to get off because that guy is just not real. Who she was sitting next to, this guy in the green hoodie. And in the original video, it's like, oh well, it could just be any old. She could just be having a schizophrenic, moment, or it could be anything. There's nothing in the original video that says it's spooky, right, or out of order. It's when other video emerged from other perspectives, and there's a bit more context to it, where the woman's actually arguing with the baggage. I don't know if it's an air marshal, or some cabin attendant. And she's talking at this guy, and it's you only ever hear her side of the conversation. He never says a word. No male voice is heard because it's two women talking. As they're interacting, and it seems to be before she actually had her outburst, right? Before she ran to the front of the plane, which is in the original video. Which is really bizarre, because then, again, this TikTok thing comes out. This guy says he was on the plane. It kind of seems to have been debunked that he was just taking the piss.
Oh,
but he does mention in there, which I find interesting, that he mentions, the guy never said a word, and this is what's recorded on that video. So I don't know. People are saying it's debunked. He was just taking the piss, right? He didn't mention the colour of the guy's hoodie, which was green, obviously, which you can clearly see in one of the.
So which one is it? Is it here's one of the clips. I'm still preparing the rest, or do you know which one?
It was the
Dom Luca, Breaker of Narratives. Is that one?
It is the last one. Yes, I think.
Oh, the last one. I thought the last one was just clips.
Okay. No. Okay. So I think it might have been the first one. It might be the first one. The second one's the original video, and the third one is.
I'll put the audio through.
Yeah. That motherfucker back there is not real, and you can sit on this plane and you can die with them or not. I'm not going to.
You could die with them. A bit melodramatic.
And there's a reason why I'm getting the off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two but I am telling you right now, that mother back there is not real. And you can sit on this plane and you can die with them or not. I'm not going to.
So what happened to the plane? That's what we really need to know, isn't it?
Well, I think it obviously landed because the video got off, right?
Yeah.
So nothing actually happened, but Yeah, it's in the it's in the first one. Is where you can hear her talking at the guy and nothing is being said back to her.
Do you think that's
bizarre.
the last one, do you, Fraser?
Well, I put it in first, I think, in the 14.
Oh, the first one.
Yeah,
I just put the second one in. Right, let's try this one.
Yeah, that was the original video. That was the one that was going round, right? So the next one, the first one is the one where you hear him
so
like
play
talking.
The first one now. Unmute it.
Nope. Stop the fucking plane. Stop the fucking plane. Stop the plane!
Stop the plane, is she? Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it.
There's no video of him, though, is there? So that's the thing.
No.
But you can't hear him say anything.
Apparently he doesn't. Apparently he doesn't at any point.
No, he doesn't.
Say anything.
He doesn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't say anything. But you can clearly
Unless
see
he does. Unless he does,
to
but his voice doesn't show up on recording equipment.
Well, yeah. Unless he's doing it telepathically, right? You know, because it looks like she's talking to him.
Yeah, well, it looks like there's one half of a conversation.
Yeah.
I have two theories about this, so I don't have much information to go on.
There's 4 minutes. We're about a minute and a half in, so we'll watch as much as we can. And then Craig Wilson says, watching Hunter Biden makes you want to eat Parmesan cheese.
Alphabet Cat saying Pac-Man encourages people to take drugs. Microsoft Flight Simulator makes people want to hijack planes, and XCOM promotes anti-immigrant feelings. So can either confirm or deny this allegation.
I think they're still on the runway. I think they're turning the engines off, aren't they?
Yeah. I don't think they took off at that point.
I mean, maybe I'm just like a cuck or something, but if I was
even here, like you're hearing the conversation, but it's only one-sided, right? Is she talking to the dude? Like,
she seems to be discussing with that other black woman for some reason. Is that black woman the flight security person?
Yeah,
the black
so
one and the blackers, yeah.
I mean, like if I was like suspected like somebody wasn't who they appeared to be on the plane, I would just be like, oh, you know what? I spent money on this flight, but I'm getting off for my own safety. It's worth it. And I'd just like get another flight if I had to. But she's making a scene, and that bit makes me suspect she's a schizo.
Yeah, because this is what they want. I mean, who really knows? I mean, maybe she's being gang stalked. But the thing is, you just don't know enough, do you?
No, I just found it, weird. I just found it bizarre that she was talking to this guy. It sounded like she was talking at the guy, and nothing was said. It was like, okay, bizarre. And it's not like it's the attendants here aren't even like curious as to what. Do you want me
to see if I can find the Richard Spencer one?
Yeah.
Because that's quite a good clip. Because that's where I saw the video. That's I think that's her rowing directly with him.
Right. Okay. But yeah, that was just like one part of it. It might be the third one as well. Actually, is that if that's got actually that might have part
right?
Of it
I think this Richard Spencer one is quite a good one. But he obviously says that the man's not real.
That motherfucker back there is not real.
Okay, here's the story time for you.
Apparently this guy's a bullshitter.
2 times to record this, but I keep going over the 3-minute limit, and I don't want to do a part 1, part 2 type thing, so I'm going to try to be specific. I was on that flight. It was American Airlines. We were leaving Dallas-Fort Worth. I was sitting in the left aisle, about 3 rows back from this woman. She was sitting in the right aisle.
So ignore what he's
very
got to say.
Interesting exchange with some dude in
Right,
a hoodie.
well,
I don't remember the color of the hoodie. I really,
what?
Right, well, hold on, right. So here's the thing. He claims, like, in the bio, he just made it up, right? But what he's saying on the actual video is what's actually in the video. So it's kind of like, okay. It's a bit bizarre. Like, he's talking about the guy didn't say a word, which is on the video.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, are you making this shit up? Why are you making this shit up
These are the three things you get. You get information, you get misinformation, you get disinformation, don't you? Oh shit! I need to. Speaking of misinformation and disinformation, I need to see if I can find that story about Paddock that I put in.
How memory is.
There was an article that came out this week talking about the Las Vegas shooting. I thought that was.
Oh really? Oh wow!
Yeah.
Someone's finally saying something.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah. Wow.
Did I put it in the 14? I'll have to have a quick look. I can't remember what it.
Super paying attention, you don't remember all the details. I had one headphone in, couldn't hear all the specifics of what happened, but I noticed this exchange between this woman and this dude in a hoodie. And it was kind of weird at the time because it seemed like no one else before she really started getting frantic, like was paying attention to this, but that makes sense. It was like a normal flight. This was after putting all the luggage away. We'd been on the plane for a little bit. It was before the flight attendant came over and gave the little spiel. And what I remember is she was having like a full-blown conversation with this dude in the hoodie. I'll call him the hoodie guy. She was having a full-blown conversation with hoodie guy. The weird thing was that he never once said a fucking word to her the whole time. And at the time, I don't know. I wasn't really thinking about it, but it's like she would say.
So this bloke may or may not be bullshitting, but people are saying he's bullshitting, aren't they?
Well, here's the thing. In the bio description thing on this video, people have screenshot and said like, "Oh look, he's bullshitting."
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. If it's bullshitting, why is he actually describing? I mean, he could have seen the video or the video stuff and just made it up, right? Him being there.
It could also be that she's having some sort of schizo attack and he just decided to try not to inflame the situation. So this is a tricky one.
Say something and he would respond, but there was no exchange happening. It was just her getting more and more frantic, which, okay, if she's drunk and she's going crazy, then you would think the dude in the hoodie would have been like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? But he was just like dead locked on her, like deep eye contact with her, like I don't want to feed into the conspiracies here, but like almost like she was like in a hypnosis type of thing. And she started getting more and more frantic to the point where then people started kind of noticing. Flight attendant came over, tried to calm her down, like, what's going on? She sat back down, but she kept looking over at this dude in the hoodie, and finally she was like done with it. And that's like when I really started paying attention, like, okay, what the fuck is going on? And that's when she was like, I can't do this. She started getting up. She started walking up to the front. And then the whole video thing happened. I didn't take a video of it. I was listening to a Stephen King audiobook. I wasn't like pulling out my phone to record this. And she didn't seem drunk to me, by the way. Just throwing that out there. I didn't see her drink. I mean, she seemed totally normal to me up until that point. The weird thing was after she left the plane, the dude in the hoodie, which the flight attendant was like, did anything happen? And he still didn't say a word. He just went like, and like shrugged. The dude in the hoodie like looked around the plane and he looked back at me. And he winked at me. And again, I didn't quite register it. I was like, okay, what the fuck was that about? I was like, maybe he's just being like an ass, like winking. Like, that was weird, wasn't it? But now that I look back, I realized that when he winked at me, and it was his left eye looking back at me, it didn't wink like this. It winked like this. And I didn't even register.
So yeah, the thing about the winking thing, I don't know if that's true, if he's just trying.
Well, the third option is that she's actually being gang stalked, and she could be. Yeah. So she they've got her to pop off against this bloke, and they use him. She's having a conversation because she's getting because the CIA do voice to skull, don't they? Where they can actually beam, beam music, voice, that kind of stuff into people's heads.
Well,
so it could be that she's having a row with this guy, but it's not. He's not speaking because he doesn't need to speak. His handlers, who are trying to drive her mad, are doing that.
But here's the thing, right?
possibility.
This is the guy who's like kind of doing the disinformation. So everyone's like, "Oh, it's reptilians on a plane." She never once says he's a reptilian. She just says he's real, right?
Yeah, she never specifies what. She just says not real, doesn't she?
Yeah, she says not real. This guy's saying, "Oh, well, he's feeding into the reptilian shit," right? You know, it's kind of okay. You know, that's why people are saying, "Oh, this is just bullshit," right? But he's actually describing what happened on the plane, which, you know, could have just been from another video. So yeah, I think he may be just trying to like jump on the bandwagon with it and, you know, either have some fun or what. But it still remains the woman had a serious panic, you know, freak out to a guy she seems to be having a conversation with who does not reply, isn't picked up on any kind of like recording device. So like you say. What is it? Could it be this, you know, this technology that makes you hear things and see things, or, you know, is she, you know, we don't know. But yeah, I found that interesting. So yeah, it's
interesting, but without like until the video comes out of like the actual interaction, which maybe nobody got, but you know, until that part comes out, it's a bit weird.
But they got one bit.
But then the thing that makes me think that this might be real is the fact that nobody has the video of the whole interaction. Yeah,
because no one would have thought to.
Because you'd be a little bit suspicious if someone had a video of the whole thing, wouldn't they?
Exactly.
Like this...
Yeah, that's the thing as well. You know, when these false flags.
Yeah.
Is someone's there ready to capture it, right? You know, waiting for it like it's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
But this is it. This is kind of an in the moment thing where it's a reaction, and then people start recording. So it's more likely this is true. So is this an example of that technology that, you know, as you say,
is it the voice? Is it the voice to you know about that, don't you, Hobbit? The voice to skull that the CIA were doing.
Yeah, and the thing is that technology was featured in Tomorrow's World back in the day.
That show.
Yeah,
Tomorrow's World.
Weren't we talking about Tomorrow's World recently? Was it last week or so?
Last week, I think we spoke about Tomorrow's World, didn't we?
Tomorrow's World, great show, by the way. But anyway, in it, they just said, turns out you can use ultrasound, you can beam the ultrasound at a wall, and then it turns into audible thing. And it's you got like a modulated signal, so if you want to get into technical details, I could probably look up the stuff, but suffice to say, when it hits the wall...
those speakers out, where you can just stick them to a clock, a desk, you know, something, and it turns it into a speaker.
Yeah. I think more interesting that is the bone conducting headphones, because that's the voice to skull technology.
I actually tried some of those. I wasn't. I think it was. Because I had some at Costco, so I thought I'll have a go. Yeah, they are really good, but they just the technology freaks me out.
Well, yeah. So you just imagine
just the idea of it. Just the idea of the technology just freaks me out. That's why I could never have them.
Well, apparently they're quite good for those that are deaf. It seems to.
Yeah, because that's what those little. You see little kids have them on their heads, don't they? Little deaf kids. The little circle thing on their head.
I thought those were cochlear implants.
Oh, are they?
Bone conductors. Well, sometimes they're cochlear implants, aren't they? But I suppose it's less invasive than a cochlear implant.
Yeah. Especially if it works. I mean, yeah, you know what I mean. The little kids with a little disc just behind their ear. Is that so? You think that's cochlear implants? Do you?
I don't know enough about modern deaf hearing aids, so but. Anyway, you don't need a bone-conducting headphone to do it. You can beam an ultrasonic pulse at someone, and it'll go in the skull, and then they'll hear voices or whatever.
So yeah, I mean the third. I mean,
if you wanted to, you could play Baby Shark over and over.
That really would drive someone fucking nuts, wouldn't it? Or a Hannah Gadsby set.
Oh God! You could play that horrible song. Disney Comics absolutely weaponized audio.
Yeah, that'd be a suicide job, wouldn't it? That on a loop.
Look, I think I know suicide is a sin, but if someone was playing that in your head over and over, and you were to come to an untimely demise,
the Despot of Antrim calls it? Oh fuck! What?
It is just weaponized sound.
Yeah.
The thing is, you go up to St. Peter's, like, look, I know it says not to do it, but honestly, you've seen what's happening for the past.
How about the
few
Mr.
days,
Blobby
right?
song? Do you think that'd do it to you?
Oh yeah, enough. I actually listened to that the other day, and it's cheesy, but it's okay.
Yeah,
but anyway,
it's from the 90s, isn't it? Like even Grandma's more bearable than weaponized noise. Number one.
You say to St. Peter, look, they're playing the Scuttlebutt song in my head non-stop, and it's like understandable.
Greg Wilson says right on time does my head in. So. Yeah,
right on time.
Right on time.
The Ballad of New York's the one I can't stand.
Yeah, I've gone off that. I've gone off that one.
It's just not a good singer.
Kirsty Thingy was a fantastic talent, though, weren't she?
Don't know who that is.
The woman that sings on it, Kirsty Allsop, I think. What is her fucking name? I don't know. My brain's gone. Right, so any more?
Oh,
Kirsty MacColl, that's it internationally. You saved me. You know, New England. Do you know? I'm not looking for. Anyway, Kirsty MacColl. She died in a boat accident. Maybe she had information that would lead to the arrest and imprisonment of Hillary Clinton. Who knows? Just average speedboating accident, as you do. Right, so that's that done. Any more before we move on?
No, we're going to the main course.
Should we go for the crying boy? Right, I'll just find this, and then I'm going to do the vegetable. Or do you want the vegetable lamb of Tartary first, Hobbit?
We go for the crying boy, but I would just like to say we have covered the crying boy phenomena before in an early Fortean words, but this may be someone's first show, and it's one of those things that's just it's worth covering again.
It's one of the evergreen urban myths, isn't it?
It is a very
like Slender Man.
Yeah,
it's
Slender
a very
Man,
Fortean
poodle in the microwave.
What?
Oh fuck it! Do you want, I've got a book of urban myths. Do you want to go into urban myths instead? If I can find my urban myths book. Oh, have you not heard about the poodle in the microwave? I bet.
It just sounds like animal cruelty. That makes me sad.
Yeah, but it's supposedly accidental animal cruelty. I just got to find it.
Oh no, not the thing where it says you must not warm up pets in the microwave.
Yeah, because apparently some old biddy took her poodle out for a walk, and it was wet, and it had been raining, and it was wet, so she decided to dry it off in the microwave. What do we got here? I'm trying to find some quick ones. Obviously, you've heard doing about the couple that are out in the car having a bit, and they hear a noise outside, so the boyfriend goes off to check, and then the girlfriend hears a noise on the roof. It's like a bang, 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 bang on the roof. She gets out to find some nutter cut her boyfriend's head off, and he's bouncing it off the roof.
Oh, what?
Yeah, these are all. Do you not know your urban myths, Fraser?
I know to stay away from the creepypasta shit. Like.
What else?
The only kind of pasta I like is Italian.
How about this one then? I've found a British one here. During the fireman strike in the early 80s, the government brought in the army to fight fires in a bid not to deal with firemen's pay claim. Although public support was largely behind the firemen, the squaddies using the famous Green Goddess fire engines stirred popular nostalgia. The soldiers became heroes, and the Green Goddesses became the stuff of urban legends. It was during this time that a green goddess was called out to attend a dire emergency, the fireman's worst nightmare, cat up a tree. The fire engine arrived at the scene of the tragedy to cheers of a huge crowd. The soldiers trooped out, raised the ladder and positioned it against the tree. A young private scrambled nimbly up along the branch, rescued the stranded puss and was straight down the ladder at lickety-split. The crowd roared its approval and the squaddies were slapped on the back and applauded. The cat belonged to an old lady who rushed out with cups of tea in gratitude to the soldiers. Eventually the squaddies got back into their green goddess, waved to the jubilant crowd, revved up the trusty old engine and ran over the same cat who had inadvisedly fallen asleep under the big back wheels. Oh dear. Right. Anyway, let's get on to this crime boy. I think we ought to do urban myths because some of them are great, aren't they? You know, like the someone in the back of your car and all that kind of stuff.
Oh well, yeah, that's ghost in the shell.
So,
Shell.
ancient curses invoked by tomb raiders have remained a popular theme in fiction and folklore for centuries. However, belief in cursed objects is not confined to legends surrounding the Egyptian relics or to the stories of M.R. James. In the modern world, there are many who believe that they have personally experienced uncanny phenomena as a result of contact with a cursed artifact. Portraits or human likenesses, whether carved or painted, are frequently the focus of this type of legend. In recent years, stories of bad luck and misfortune have had ritual or magical functions, some of which are apparently quite recent in origin. In folk belief, the notion that a picture falling from a wall is an omen of impending death, particularly if it's a portrait, remains one of the most widespread modern superstitions. Similarly, eerie portraits.
I've never heard of that. I've never actually heard of that one.
I don't think I've heard of that one either.
I've heard about walking under the ladder and stuff like that, but never portraits falling off a wall means impending death.
I'll bet you ever heard that one.
I have not. No. The only creepypasta I did a show about was the Russian sleep experiment. And then reading out just like
you did the Teletubbies as well.
Oh yeah, we did that afterwards. But the Russian sleep experiment, when I read
Do you remember our Teletubbies? We did a whole episode on the Teletubbies, didn't we?
Oh yeah, because they kept taking the televisions away from them, so they just swallowed the television. LOL. What? Like no.
I just hate the way that 99% of them finish with, "It was all a dream," or was it? Just like how most of them finish.
It's clearly bollocks. It's like, the thing is, creepypasta has to be somewhat believable, and like the Russian sleep experiment is somewhat believable, and that's why it's creepy.
Oh, my favourite one's Candle Cove. I think that's my favourite one.
Oh, that rings a bell.
About the kid who used to watch the kiddies program that was just a little bit weird and slightly creepy, and then it turns out that the kid used to sit there screaming at the TV for an hour.
That one is believable.
Yeah.
Yes.
In folk belief, the notion... Oh, yes, I've just done that. Similarly eerie portraits whose eyes seem to follow you wherever you go have become a staple scene setter in numerous horror flicks. Folklore is not static but active and dynamic, especially when it evokes latent beliefs rooted in older superstitions. He's done a full stop and I'm just fed up. I've just had it with journalists. So we find that fear and anxiety...
Modern journalism.
Yeah. The full stop and... to surround an eerie portrait that has quite literally blazed the trail across the British Isles and around the world in the space of 2 decades. So this is like a pretty... So what? Yeah, no. So this is from 2008. So
wait, what is this only like recently happened in this portrait thing, or is this?
Well, he said 20 years before, so he's been saying it's been happened since like the late 80s.
What, the portraits thing? Because I never remember this being a thing. Like
So So the Curse of the Crying Boy appeared out of the blue one morning in 1985. The Sun at the time, the most popular tabloid newspaper in the English-speaking world, published on page 13 of its 4th of September edition a story headlined "Blazing Curse of the Crying Boy." It told how Ron and May Hall blamed a cheap painting of a toddler with tears rolling down his face. I mean, who'd buy that for a start? Who'd want that on their wall? A crying child.
there is artwork like that, and it does adorn people's things. And they've been interviewed by various news programs, and then people go, "That's an interesting choice in artwork to display when you're being interviewed on national television. Why would you have that?" And then they show like the other works by the artist being like downright pornographic.
Hello, Comet Pizza. Oh.
As Craig Wilson says, John Podesta and his interest in art collection.
I don't think just John Podesta.
Are you old enough
Arnold
to remember
Schwarzenegger as well. He had pictures like that with like dead girls which are naked and maggots are coming out of their corpse.
Oh, Jesus. Are you old enough to remember that woman with the green face? Like that's like a late 80s. Like,
no, I don't remember that.
The only green-faced women I know is the ones Captain Kirk made out with.
Hold on, let's have a look. Green-faced woman portrait. See if that comes out with it. It's gonna probably gonna take me straight to Pornhub.
It's okay. If you're in France, you won't be able to see the page.
Ah, this is the one. I found it. Oh, she's Chinese. Why has she got a green face? So, this is like a real, like, this is real 80s hours, this is. Like, I remember people having this on the wall when I was a kid. I never knew she was Chinese.
Oh, wow. What?
Yeah.
Right.
It's like a peculiarly like late 80s thing. Like 80s thing. It was weird.
You've never seen her.
No, you never seen that. I've seen a few. I think it was like a peculiarly like late 70s, 80s type thing.
Right. Okay. So, is this the artwork that was like, what's the relevance here?
There's no relevance. It's just like a popular like 80s picture, like a
Okay.
And obviously the Haywayne reproductions of the Haywayne used to be everywhere.
Is this the precursor to throwing a banana at a wall? Is this? Is this where we jump the shark?
This is what you had before Tracy Emin. I suppose it's racist now.
No, it may be hard for the younger members of the audience, especially ones who grew up with like the pimply-faced youth I work with was born after broadband internet was commonplace. 9/11 was like a oh yeah, that's a thing that happened before I was born. And God, never mind the Berlin Wall coming down. I remember that, but
David Hasselhoff with his light
What
jacket.
day did the Berlin Wall come down? What day?
1988.
Yeah, but when? What day? Month?
I don't know. I just remember I was young. I was like,
And David Hasselhoff was there.
But
people wanted bits of it, didn't they?
What I thought was personal about this is there was a time and a place where you didn't just have facts at your fingertips, and you had to the hearsay and urban myths were like commonplace because people could say stuff and there's no way you could verify it.
Well,
I think the Guinness Book
I
of
very
Records
inadvisably when I was young, I used to hang around train tracks. Like, don't hang around train tracks, kids. I survived, but you probably won't. And there was all the urban myths around that, like there were spotter trains and they'd shoot you with salt pellets if they caught you, stuff like this. You guys know that British Rail shooting people with salt pellets. That'd be a problem.
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's going to hurt, but it won't injure you, and it will tell you the important thing.
But it's like everyone has their own like peculiar like. I mean that's. I'm pretty sure it's an urban myth. I don't think in the 80s they went around shooting kids with rifles, but I don't know. Maybe they did.
1989. Is that
I think you use a shotgun for rock salt.
Yeah. But I don't think they'd go shooting kids with rock salt from trains, would they?
Why not? Look, if National Rail...
Well, I was told it must be true.
If National Rail needs somebody to shoot youths with rock salt, I'm free in the mornings.
Why don't you see if you can apply for the job of it? Ring them up. So I heard there's a job going where I can go on a spot. They were called. They used to say they were spotter trains. So they were trains. You know, trains that are just engines. You know, when an engine's driving, it's got no carriages on it.
Oh,
so we were told they were spotter trains, and if they saw kids hanging around the tracks, they'd shoot them with surprise.
Did your dad also tell you when the ice cream truck plays the music that means he's sold out?
No, but if he'd have thought of it, he'd have done it. So, The Curse of the Crying Boy. So, it's in the Sun, 4th of September 1985. It told how Ron and May Hall blamed a cheap painting of a toddler with tears rolling down his face for a fire which gutted their terrace council. Because the picture usually survives as well, doesn't it? In Rotherham, a mining town in South Yorkshire, the blaze broke out in a chip pan in the kitchen of their home of 27 years and spread rapidly. But although, I mean, it might be the chip pan, I don't think it might not be the picture. It might actually be the chip pan that caused the fire. But although the downstairs, do you remember that when people used to have hot fat, boiling hot fat on their stoves? The good old days.
Yes. Because you're not. Unless you're like a fish and chip shop, you're not going to have a dedicated deep fat fryer.
Yeah.
So of course you'd. And in the real good old days, you'd have a cauldron of boiling fat over an open fire.
Yeah. Fucking hell. At least the like plume of flame would go up the chimney, wouldn't it? If you spilt any. So, which gutted their council home in Rotherham, a mining town in South Yorkshire. The blaze broke out in a chip pan in the kitchen of their home for 27 years and spread rapidly.
A blaze just broke out. That's it, yeah.
Yeah, just broke out.
Magically caught fire, yeah.
You'd have a chip pan. Full stop but. Is full stop but as bad as full stop and, or is it just is it in the same ballpark but not as serious, I bet?
It should be a comma, shouldn't it?
Yeah. Although the downstairs rooms of the house were badly damaged,
people are scared of commas, especially those that are literate.
Yeah. The framed print of the crying boy escaped unscathed. It continued to hang there, surrounded by a scene of devastation. Normally a chip pan blaze. To be fair, knowing like the 70s and 80s, it was probably on asbestos backing or something. Wasn't it? Nobody gave a fuck. They put asbestos in everything, didn't they?
Even the chip pan. Oh.
Yeah.
Even cigarette filters are made of asbestos because it doesn't burn.
And gas masks. Gas masks in World War II.
Soviet gas masks up until quite recently contained asbestos.
Yeah, because it doesn't absorb moisture, does it?
Well, it's also a good filter. It's like the problem is like bits break off, and now you got asbestosis, but hey, at least you didn't breathe in any noxious fumes which have killed you immediately.
Alphabet Cat says, I think I remember the old public information films on them.
Is this one of those things that it wasn't true, like the TV detector vans?
Yeah, and spotter trains. Dear. So, what, chip pan fires or crying boys?
No, I'm saying like spotter trains are like the TV license vans. Sorry, I'm working in Dave time at the moment, and I'm still like 10 minutes behind.
PSA is about how to put out chip fan fight. Oh yeah, the throw a damp towel on it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. So normally a chip pan blaze would merit nothing more than a couple of paragraphs in a local newspaper. What transformed this story into a page led Britain's leading tabloid was on the. What transformed this story into a page lead? Not led. It's a page lead in Britain's leading tabloid. Was the intervention of Ron Hall's brother Peter, a firefighter based in Rotherham. A colleague of Peter's station officer, Alan Wilkinson, it said he knew a number of numerous other cases where prints of the crime boy had turned up undamaged in the ruins of homes destroyed by fire. Accompanying the article was a photograph of a crying boy with the caption, "Tears for Fears." The portrait that firemen claim is cursed. The fireman concerned had not actually used the word cursed, but nevertheless the newspaper report had helped to give the story a certain level of credibility. The paper added that an estimated 50,000 crying boy prints signed G. Bragalin had been sold in branches of British department stores, particularly in the working class areas of northern England. Examples could be seen hanging in the front rooms of family homes across the nation, and one story even suggested 250,000 had been sold. I'm just surprised that kid was never told he's going to get something to cry about if he doesn't stop it. The mass media play a crucial role in creating and spreading modern folklore. Stories such as The Crying Boy behave much like a virus when they take root in the popular imagination. Furthermore, the tabloid news values and the priority given to providing a good story frequently override accuracy and scepticism, particularly where uncanny or supernatural events are concerned. It's amazing how the world's moved on since 2008. Now it would be like TikTok or Twitter, wouldn't it? Right, so fucking hell, there's a whole load of these crying boy. But why the fuck? Why? Just why would you buy one of these crying child pictures? What makes a person buy a crying child picture?
Oh, I just love seeing children suffer. I have to have it on the mantelpiece.
That's what you'd be like if you don't behave yourself. Peter Chippendale and Chris Horry in their warts and all history of the Sun, entitled Stick It Up Your Punter, credit legendary editor Kelvin Mackenzie as the father of the crying boy curse. During the mid-80s, the Sun was engaged in a battle for readers with its Fleet Street rival, the Daily Mirror. It was also responsible for publishing a series of horrific and bizarre stories with tenuous origins, of which some such as Freddie Starr Ate My Hamster earned a permanent place in pop culture. The Crying Boy arrived at a time when Mackenzie was on the lookout for what journalists call a great splash, which for him meant an exclusive story that none of his rivals would dream of publishing first. Mackenzie's genius was to spot the potential splash buried in routine copy from a new regional news agency. He announced confidently to his staff, "This one's got legs," his phrase for a story that would run and run. On the 5th of September 1985, the Sun ran its follow-up, reporting that scores of horrified readers claiming to be victims of the curse of the Crying Boy have flooded the paper with calls. They all feared they were jinxed by having the print of a tot with tears. But I hate it when they use. This is like pure tabloid speak, isn't it? A tot with tears pouring down his face in their homes. Readers were left with an overwhelming impression of a supernatural link, reinforced by the use of words like curse, jinx, feared, and horrified. We used to throw asbestos on our bonfires. It blew up lovely. Happy days. Says Craig Wilson. Typical of these additional stories was that told by Dora Mann from Mitcham, Surrey, who claimed her house was gutted just 6 months after she bought a print of the painting. "All my paintings were destroyed except the one of the Crying Boy," she claimed. Sandra Caskey of Kilburn, North Yorkshire, said that she, her sister-in-law and a friend had all suffered from disastrous fires since they acquired copies. Another family from Nottingham blamed the print for a blaze which left them homeless. Brian Parks, whose wife and 3 children needed treatment for smoke inhalation, said she had destroyed his copy after returning home from hospital to find it hanging, undamaged of course, on the blackened wall of his living room. As the stories accumulated, new details emerged that encouraged the idea that possession of a print put owners at risk of fire or serious injury. One woman from London claimed she had seen her print swing from side to side on the wall, while another from Paignton said her 11-year-old son had caught his private parts on a hook after she bought the picture. Mrs. Rowe, this reminds me of that. You ever heard that Not the 9 o'clock news one where they're taking the mick out of That's Life? Where the woman says Mr. Smith was caught in a car accident. Mrs. Smith was abducted by a UFO. British Gas said, "I'm sorry, it has nothing to do with us." It just reminds me of that. So Mrs. Rose Farrington in Preston, in a letter published by The Sun, wrote, "Since I bought it in 1959, my 3 sons and my husband have all died. I've often wondered if it has a curse." Another reader reported an attempt to destroy 2 of the prints by fire, only to find to her horror they would not burn. Dun dun dun. Her claim was tested by security guard Paul Collier, who tossed one of his 2 prints onto a bonfire. Despite being left in the flames for an hour, it was not even scorched. "It was frightening. The fire wouldn't even touch it," he told The Sun. "I really believe it is jinxed. We feel doubly at risk with 2 of these in the house, and we are determined to get rid of them."
Why don't you just get rid of them?
Yeah, you just get rid of them, sell them to someone else.
Leave them outside. Like, fucking put them in a river. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
Why do you have to? Like, why are you determined to get rid of them? Why don't you just get rid of them?
Yeah, take them down the charity shop or something. Collier's story recalls the comments of the fireman who, in the aftermath of house fires in Rotherham, mentioned prints had inexplicably escaped damage. The real mystery from their perspective was how the pictures had survived fires that were in themselves perfectly explicable. In most cases, straightforward explanations of carelessly discarded cigarettes, overheated chip fans, and faulty electric heaters have been found during the subsequent fire service investigation. Rotherham Fire Station Officer Alan Wilkinson, who emerged had personally logged 50 crying boy fires dating back to 1973, dismissed any connection with the supernatural, having satisfied himself that most of them had been caused by human carelessness. But despite his pragmatism, he could not explain how the prints had survived infernos, which generated heat sufficient to strip plaster from walls. His wife had her own theory. "I always say it's the tears that put the fire out." The Sun was not interested in finding a rational explanation. It ignored Wilkinson's comments and claimed fire chiefs have admitted they have no logical explanation for a number of recent incidents. Soon afterwards, it emerged that the cursed prints were not all copies of the same painting, nor were all prints by the same artist. The picture that survived the fire in Rotherham that had initially triggered the scare was signed by the artist G. Bragolin. The Sun claimed the original was by an Italian artist. In fact, Giovanni Bragolin was a pseudonym adopted by Spanish painter Bruno Amadio, who is also known as the Franco Seville. Attempts to trace him have floundered as art historians said he did not appear to have a coherent biography. To make matters more confusing, further crime boys that had featured in fires, part of a serious study called Childhood, were painted by the Scottish artist Anna Zinkison, who died in 1976. The only common denominator was that all were examples of cheap, mass-produced prints sold in great numbers by English department stores during the 60s and 70s. The geographical cluster simply reflected their popularity among working-class communities in that part of the north. Despite being dismissed by art critics as kitsch, The Crying Boy remained an extremely popular print, particularly for female owners. Why is it women enjoy seeing crying children? Mm-hmm. Examples existed in at least 5 different variations. At least 2 of these had companion studies of crying girls. Some people own copies of both, and the others in the series included pictures of girls and boys holding flowers. In defiance of the scare headlines, some owners had developed such an emotional bond with the prints they refused to dispose of them. "I will never care for the picture myself because of its sadness," the partner of one proud owner was quoted as saying. He then went on to pose 2 questions many anxious Sun readers wanted answered. Why would you want a picture of a child crying? Why was the child crying? Naturally, journalists turned to experts in the field of folklore and the occult for an explanation. When one approached Folklore Society member Georgina Boys... what's that? Jesus Christ. Crying babies make nipples wet, but I don't know. Someone said in the chat, for God's sake.
Fucking hell.
Oh dear. When one approached Folklore Society member Georgina Boys, the interview floundered...
There may be an element of truth in that. There's something I read a few weeks ago which just made me very sad. I'm like, there's probably a bit of truth to that, and I don't want to think about it too much. You know, cot death? Yeah, it's asphyxiation. It's basically baby's been smothered with a pillow. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's sudden death. Well, obviously we know what sudden death means now, don't we? It means safe and effective. That's what it means.
Well, I mean, I did notice someone saying when there was less safe and effectives for neonatals being administered, the incidence of cot death decreased. Now, there could be like infants dying in their sleep because they've been safe and effective, or it could be that because they've been safe and effective, they have a fever, they're more colicky, they cry a lot, and then the mother decides to just murder their child. And
as Craig Wilson says, vaccines were also thought to cause SIDS. Obviously, it's SIDS now, Hobbit. It's children of cot death.
Look, look. I'm not going to use this new bullshit term. It's cot death. You never hear about
SIDS. It's SIDS, sudden
infant death syndrome. Now, you never hear about cot death happening in broad daylight when the kid's being strolled around in the pram. It's only ever happens at night when no one's around with the mother.
Is it possible babies do get sleep apnea though?
Is it possible that desperate mothers who haven't had a decent night's sleep in a long time decide to murder their children?
Well, they all tend to be about. Is it 2 or 3? Isn't it quite common age?
I don't
Obviously,
know.
The terrible twos.
The thing about that is, as well, consider it's like someone may say, "Well, Hobbit, that's terrible. How could you suggest a mother would kill her own flesh and blood?" It's like, well, they're happy to do it whilst they're in the womb. I'm sorry for lowering the tone, but the idea of who would buy a portrait of a crying boy,
somebody who likes to see children upset.
Well, look, Myra Hindley was a woman. I'm saying women are capable of great evil, and it's about time we stop being so sexist here at Fortean Words and accept that women too can be evil. I know I'm of the philosophical school of misogynies, but I have to accept that women are capable of such things.
Well, if men are, women are, aren't they?
Exactly.
Yeah, but they do it in different ways.
Yeah. Sneaky ways.
I mean, is there a correlation, like, for your theory, Hobbit, of is it dominantly? Well,
it's more. Or... I'd say it's more the method than anything, isn't it? Because women will smother, poison. Women tend to murder in more sneaky ways, like blokes are like stabbing and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is poison is a woman's weapon.
I would say most male murders are crimes of passion, whereas female murders are premeditated. And look, historically, it's been done. I mean, it was famous, if the Greek mother didn't want her a child, she would just leave it on the cliff to die of exposure.
Or roll off.
Yeah. But the idea is you abandon your child.
I'm going to leave it right on the edge of this cliff so it dies of exposure.
Well,
yeah. I mean,
exposure falls into the sea.
Yeah.
Either way,
it's the child in the woods for the wolves and shit.
Yeah. And that's where you get children who are raised by wolves.
Putting it in a basket, putting it on the Nile.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm saving this child. I'm saving this child, Moses, by putting him in a basket and putting it and throwing him in the river. I'm saving him. Look.
You ever heard the one where Moses is he's actually, his name's Ramesses, and he's the brother of the Pharaoh, and so it's like he's not just like leader of the slaves. He's, I don't know.
Yeah.
But apparently Ramesses, Ramos is same name, just different pronunciation. It's like saying, my name's Charles, or you go to France like, ton nom c'est Charles.
Or as the Yanks do, Jack, which is short for John.
What? No. That's not right, because Jack is a separate name.
Have you never heard him refer to JFK as Jack Kennedy?
But he's John Kennedy.
No, Jack's short for John.
But that's bullshit, because it's the same fucking length and they're both monosyllabic. Fuck off, America.
No,
You're stupid.
Hold on, Hobbit. Technically, Jonathan is the full word, right?
Which is shortened to John.
Yeah.
Which is shortened to Jack.
Yeah.
No.
Frank Sinatra did a song, everyone's voting for Jack, which is about JFK. Have you never watched documentaries about JFK where they refer to Jack Kennedy? Like my missus, I had to explain this to the missus the other day. She said, "Who's Jack Kennedy?" I said, "He's JFK. John Kennedy."
This is fucking
Why are they calling him
bullshit.
Jack when his name's John? I said, because the Yanks think Jack is short for John.
It's like when Mars bars say we've made a fun-sized Mars bar, we've shortened it to 3 inches. But now they've said, oh, we've got a mini-sized Mars bar, we've shortened it to 3 inches. What, so it's exactly the same length? Yeah, but we're calling it mini-size instead of fun-size. Go fuck yourself. Fuck off, America. I'm proper... Look, this is infuriating. How the hell am I supposed to take... Look, seriously, I never took them seriously for the fact that they have aerosolized cheese in a fucking can to start with. But America's not a serious country. Fuck off, America.
You know they have liquid butter as well, don't you, Hobbit?
That's not butter. Look, they're liars. They say, oh, we've shortened John, which is Jon, to Jack, Jack, and then they say, oh, we've got Cheese Whiz, and we've got, like, this butter product, which isn't even... I can't believe it's not butter. Yes, I fucking can, because it tastes nothing like it. It's margarine. God, you lying shitbags. I hate you. Look, I'm from Kazakhstan. I hate Americans so much it's unreal. Fucking Americans.
So anyway, back.
Yeah. Also, why is Dick short for Richard? I don't know.
Yeah, but at least it's like Rick, Dick. You know, at least it's like in the ballpark. It's not like Jack and John, which are two separate fucking names. Is it?
I mean, it's like saying, "Oh, my name's Steve," which is short for Samantha.
Yeah, but why is Peggy short for Margaret? Like, why?
Fuck. What? These are two different names.
Did you not know Peggy is short for Margaret, Hobbit? Did you not know that?
I can understand Lizzie being short for Elizabeth, but no, those are two different names. You stop lying to me.
I just went. That was funny in the old days. You know when you ever read the obituaries? Have you ever spent much time reading the obituaries?
No, not one of my.
They'll go like, it's David. It'll be David Smith has died, known as Steve. It's like, fucking why? His name's Dave.
Oh no, there was a thing of people using their second name, right?
Yeah.
Second. If I didn't know the first name, because everyone back in the olden days was named something horrendous like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Leslie.
Yeah,
or
that actually makes
Phyllis.
sense.
The Barbara, or I don't know.
Yeah.
The male ones. Sue.
The brothers of Boards of Canada used to call themselves Marcus Sanderson and Mark Ewan, but it turns out like the reason they did that in the early days was because they didn't want to be likened to Orbital, who are also two brothers. So that's why one of them just used their middle name as their surname.
So then, Roy Vickery, secretary of the Folklore Society, was quoted to the effect that the original artist might have mistreated the child model in some way, adding, "All these fires could be the child's curse, his way of getting revenge." A print of Zenkison's Crime Boy became the centre of the next mysterious fire reported by The Sun. This destroyed a council house in Rotherham, which had emerged not only as the geographical location of many of the reported fires, but also as the source of the whole phenomenon. To the same story quoted a fire brigade spokesman, reassuring owners of the print that although there was no cause for alarm, these incidents are becoming more frequent. Is that like safe and effective? Don't worry, there's more of these happening. The widespread anxiety this story generated led South Yorkshire Fire Service to issue a statement which aimed to debunk the connection between the fires and the prints. It pointed out that the most recent blaze was started by an electric fire left too close to a bed. Chief Divisional Officer Mick Riley said a large number... The good old-fashioned 3-bar fire. Safe as fuck. Safe as houses.
It is safe and effective, the 3-bar fire.
Well, it's effective, but it's not that safe.
No, that's a conspiracy theory. The BBC Verified told me that 3-bar fires are safe and effective.
They weren't safe and effective if you were wearing a shell suit near one, were they?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was safe and effective at burning shell suits. Do you remember when fucking people used to put their clothes over 3-bar fires? It's like, fuck, people must have been insane back in the day.
Oh, right,
you know your theory about living in the ruins of a more intelligent civilization. Don't 3-bar fires like completely exhibit that?
Well, no, we are entering idiocracy, because I was talking with the mechanics at work, and I just said, I like these old Mercedes vans. They've got like this J-shaped arm bonnet catch. It's ingenious. Why did they get rid of it and go back to the sort of, you have to pull this sticky out bit and put it into the catch there? And they said, the reason being, Mercedes, it is a good design. However, idiots didn't understand that the shape of the J, wondered, why is my bonnet not closing? I know, I'll just slam it. Why is my bonnet arm now bent? So, because like, this happens so often, Mercedes like, right, we're going to revert it to the fucking idiot standard, because people seem to understand you pull this catch out and you put it in the hook. And it's sad, because like, you know what? That J-shaped bonnet catch, it's simple, it's effective, it doesn't need a pneumatic system.
When's the last time you watched Goldfinger, Hobbit? Did you know someone gets killed with a 3-bar fire in it? They throw the 3-bar fire into the bath.
Yeah, that could happen, couldn't it? I mean, it's live electricity. It's
well, you know, there was no RCDs and stuff like that. So if you threw a toaster in or something, someone
yeah, it's a fuse.
Yeah.
You know, you just like, suddenly your 3-bar fire is drawing 20 amps instead of 13. Well, I better keep it running for another 20 seconds then.
If you're lucky, if someone hasn't put a paperclip or the wrong size or a nail or something in it.
I got curious. I said, why do the buses here have super mains in them? They said, that's to keep the aircon running when the engines are switched off. And I said, what current do they use? I said, about 16 amps. So I said, well, that's 7 kilowatts. I said, yeah, it's a lot of power.
So where was I talking about 3-bar fires? So that was a 3-bar fire close to the bed that caused that one. So
positively shocking, yes.
Chief Divisional Officer Mick Riley said a large number of the prints have been sold, and any connection with the fires is purely coincidental. It has nothing to do with us. Do you remember That's Life, Hobbit? I don't think you're old enough to remember that, are you?
I don't know. Who was on it?
Esther Ranson. It was like the Consumer Rights Programme. They had the panel of 3 where you've done this, and the company would always write back, I'm sorry, it has nothing to do with us.
Because Watchdog replaced that, didn't it, with Anne Robinson?
See if you can find the Not the 9 o'clock news, the That's Live sketch, because that is funny.
You can watch it right now, but I suggest you don't.
Yes. Hobbit, don't find the link and put it in the chat and tell people to go and watch it right this minute.
Well, no, you can do what I do these days with OBS. So just like go, look, guys, I'm going to play this game, but normally when I play this game, I watch this stuff on YouTube. So I'm just going to put it in the corner there so you can watch it with me. I don't feel like talking, so, this way we can get 2 birds stoned at once.
So, any connection purely fires are not started by pictures or coincidence, but by careless acts and omissions. Riley then revealed the service's own explanation: the reason why the picture has not always been destroyed in the fire because it's printed on high-density hardboard, which is difficult to ignite. That's quite because MDF has a good burn time, doesn't it?
I seem to remember something about the oak beams in Notre Dame being very difficult to catch alight. Because at first they tried to say it's totally not arson. I mean, the building hasn't finished burning down, but it's not arson. It's just some careless builder left a blowtorch on and it caught the beam alight. And then there was like some carpenter in Germany. It's like, yeah, hi, I'm a carpenter that does historical restoration. I have here a 500-year-old oak beam. I'm going to leave my blowtorch. And he did like a time-lapse video where he left it on for about half an hour.
Yeah.
And it didn't catch a light. There wasn't even a cherry. It turns out very old wood is naturally fire retardant.
Oh, okay. What? That's weird, isn't it?
I'll have to talk to my friend about it actually, because he's doing a degree in historical.
Do you think it's possible there was some kind of treatment that, you know, we talk about living in the ruins of a more advanced civilization. Do you think there was some sort of treatment they used to be able to?
Well, he was working on some vernacular architecture, and I don't think they would have used the same sort of treatment, but it's hard to say. The only other thing we could do is just like have a piece of oak that's not been treated and leave it for a number of centuries and just... But who's going to do that? The fact is, well, the way they're saying it burnt down, it didn't. It was deliberate arson. And also Michael Obama happened to be there at the time, often known as Michelle, because that's a shortening of Michael, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. She was sipping wine. The thing is, there was a photograph taken of her where she's, and I don't know if it's Photoshop, it might be, but she's sipping wine, and you can see the photographer's caught like the burning of the cathedral in the wine glass.
Weird. What, she was just toasting to a job well done?
Well, she's just like Nero, you know, she's drinking wine whilst Rome burns.
Fucking hell, this gets more bizarre, this story. The fire service's statement failed to have much effect dousing the flames the sun was happily stoking. Soon afterwards, the news came of a crying boy that had survived a fire which gutted an Italian restaurant in Great Yarmouth. Oh, it'd be nice while you sat there eating your pasta looking at a child crying. Enough is enough, folks. Mackenzie told his readers, if you're worried about a crying boy picture hanging in your home, send it to us immediately. We will destroy it for you. And that should see the back of any curse. According to Chippendale and Horry's account, worried readers rang in to ask if they should get rid of their copy to stop their houses burning down. Sure, Mackenzie replied, send them in. We'll do the job for you. Bouverie Street was swamped. The crying boys were soon stacked 12 foot high in the newsroom, spilling out of cupboards and entirely filling a little used interview room. Until then, Mackenzie's staff couldn't work out how much credence their boss had attached to the story. When the assistant editor took down a picture of Churchill, which had been hanging in the newsroom wall since the Falklands War, and replaced it with a crying boy, the mystery was resolved. Mackenzie was bustling into the newsroom at his normal half-run, stopped dead in his tracks and went, "Take that down! I don't like it! It's bad luck!" Fireman Alan Wilkinson reacted in a similar fashion when his colleagues presented him with a framed crying boy on his retirement from the brigade. Like Kelvin Mackenzie, he denied being superstitious, but nevertheless immediately returned the painting, saying, "No thanks, you can keep it." Similarly, Chief Officer Mick Riley, who was responsible for the statement debunking the curse, wouldn't accept a copy of the print as a gift, saying his wife wouldn't like it wouldn't fit in. Interviewed by his local paper, Wilkinson admitted he'd been presented with another crying boy print by a worried woman who turned up at his home one night. He took it to work as a joke, mounted it on the office wall of the fire station. Within days, he was ordered by his superiors to take it down. Heaping irony upon comedy, the story continued. The same day, an oven in the upstairs kitchen overheated and the firemen's dinners were burnt. Kelvin Mackenzie faced a similar dilemma. At the end of his 6-week crying boy campaign, the editor of The Sun had to dream up a suitable way of disposing of 2,500 copies of the print that readers had sent in. His initial plan was to burn them on the roof of the paper's Bouverie Street offices. Was vetoed by both the London and Thames Valley Fire Brigade. What a fucking nutter. Can you imagine that? Setting fire to 2,500 paintings on a roof in the middle of the city.
Surely there's a better way to do a controlled burn.
Yeah, I think he does. I think he finds one. Both refused to cooperate and denounced the whole campaign as a cheap publicity stunt. The reasons for their reluctance were becoming clear. It emerged that nationally the fire surface had been the focus of hundreds of calls and visits by anxious owners who believed the prints were cursed, or that they were made of dangerous flammable material. Eventually, reporter Paul Hooper, with photographers and Page 3 girls in tow, left the day with the days, weren't they? Page 3 girls.
Oh, you know what? I'm glad Page 3's finished now, because can you imagine what sort of horrors they put on there now?
Yeah.
Oh God! Oh man! Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. Just on.
Lizzo.
Oh.
Lizzo in the
Someone was put it this way: Blair White would actually be a lot better than some of the stuff they put on there. Someone was saying to me, "Oh, I'd love to see an XCOM 3," and it's just like, mate, don't wish on that monkey's paw, because it'll be like, "Oh yes, we're making it for modern audiences."
Oh God.
Eventually, reporter Paul Hurt, he went with the Sun and the girls. The Sun nails cut. The Sun splashed the story appropriately on Halloween under the headline, "Sun nails curse of the weeping boy for good." A photograph depicted a scantily clad red-hot Page 3 beauty, Sandra Jane Moore, feeding the bonfire as bemused firemen look on. The Halloween burning was widely believed to have exercised the curse of the crying boy, and a number of tabloid stories began to decrease. But in March the following year, a columnist in the Western Morning News pointed out that the industrial turmoil faced by News International, owners of the Sun, involving strikes and violent picketing at their new Fort Wapping production plant, began shortly after the paper's bonfire. Poking fun at its Fleet Street rival, the paper implied the jinx was so feared by Calvin Mackenzie had been visited upon its creator. This is fucking crackers, isn't it? This is like this is what happens when you don't have characters anymore in positions of power. Like, you have all these boring suits. Like, this is what you get when you have characters running things. Do you miss the character? You used to get characters in sports. Like, your average sportsman now, you wouldn't want to talk to them because they're so fucking boring, aren't they?
You can say what you want about Margaret Thatcher, but, you know, nobody was apathetic towards her.
Yeah. As tabloid interest waned, I mean, it's like I haven't watched any of the new Spitting Image, but it can't really work because people don't really have personalities anymore, do they? There's nothing to caricature, is there?
If your parody is too accurate, people will say, "Well, you're being racist bigots."
Yeah.
So you can't parody without risking criminal prosecution now. So what's the point in comedy if you can't critique anything?
Well, that was the role of the court. The court jester was the person who could say anything in court, wasn't he, back in the day?
Yeah, but now it's just like, oh, you've said something which made me frown. Off with his head.
As tabloid interest waned, crying boy stories began to morph into a modern legend. New versions appeared, including one which suggested those who were kind to the prince were rewarded with good luck. Another was the idea of placing a picture of the crying girl next to that of the crying boy would bring good luck. What the story lacked was a satisfying narrative explaining how the print came to be an ignition source. Soon that story would be surprised, and the arrival of the internet would provide the legend with a new lease of life, independent of the print media which originally set it running. One web source claims that during the 1990s, crying boy fires began to be reported for the first time from other parts of the world. It also reflects how the basic curse painting motif was being moulded by professional storytellers and paranormal investigators for a new audience. A medium claims the spirit of the boy is trapped in the painting and it starts fires in an attempt to burn the painting and free itself. Others claim the painting is haunted or attracts poltergeist activity. Stories of the artists and subjects' misfortune had attached themselves to the painting. The notion the crying boy had been badly treated by the artist was gaining popularity. Few cared that there were several different paintings and artists, or that this idea began life as a throwaway remark offered to the Sun a decade earlier. In 2000, Tom Sleeman revived the story in book form as part of his Haunted Liverpool series of largely unreferenced books. Like many others in this genre, the stories they contain are presented in an entertaining narrative style which appeals to mass readership. In his entry on the Crying Boy jinx, Sleeman states that the head of the Yorkshire Fire Brigade had told newspapers the Crying Boy print had turned up in the rubble of houses that had mysteriously burnt to the ground. According to Sleeman, when journalists asked him if he believed the picture was evil, the fire chief refused to comment. This factually incorrect account introduced the narrative which followed, finally explaining why the picture was evil. The story was uncovered by a well-respected researcher into occult matters, a retired schoolmaster from Devon named George Mallory. In 1995, Mallory traced the artist who had painted the original, an old Spanish portrait artist named Franco Seville, who lives in Madrid. Seville, as astute readers will recognise, was one of the pseudonyms used by Bruno Amadeo, otherwise known as G. Bragolin, whose signature appeared on some of the prints.
St. Elmo's Fire, Man in Motion by John Parr was #1 in the music charts when this happened. In the USA, that is.
Interesting fact.
Strange but true.
St. Elmo's Fire is isn't it Seen at Sea, I think?
It's Swamp Gas Over Venus, Ball Lightning.
No, you forgot the other one. What's the other one? Fata Morgana.
Oh yeah, it's a Fata Morgana.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. That is
safe and effective. Morgana. Safe and effective.
Yes.
According to Sleeman, Seville Amadeo Bragolin told Mallory the subject of the painting was a little street urchin he'd found wandering around Madrid in 1969. He never spoke and had a very sorrowful look in his eyes. Seville painted the boy, and a Catholic priest identified him as Don Bonillo, a child who had run away after seeing his parents die in a blaze. The priest told the artist to have nothing to do with the runaway because wherever he settled, fires of unknown origin would mysteriously break out. So either it's supernatural or maybe the kid's a pyromaniac. Which one do you think, Hobbit?
The jury's out on this one.
The villagers called him Diablo. The villagers called him Diablo because of this. Nevertheless, the painter ignored the priest's advice and adopted the boy. His portrait sold well, but one day his studio was destroyed by fire and the artist was ruined. He accused the little boy of arson and Bonillo ran off, naturally in tears, and was never seen again. The story continued. From all over Europe came reports of the unlucky Crying Boy paintings causing blazes. Seville was also regarded as a jinx, and no one commissioned him to paint or would even look at his paintings. In 1976, a car exploded into a fireball on the outskirts of Barcelona after crashing into a wall. The victim was charred beyond recognition, but part of the victim's driving licence in the glove compartment. It must have been one of those Saudi driving licences, mustn't it? The name on the licence was one 19-year-old Don Bonillo. Could this be the same orphan the villagers knew as Diablo? In Wild Talents, Charles Fort referred to such people as fire genie, and by genius I mean one who can't avoid the knowledge of fire because he can't avoid setting things afire. While the existence of some fire starters, such as the telekinetic medium Nina Colagina, is well documented, this was not the case with Don Bonillo. The source of Sleeman's story is unknown, and the mysterious George Mallory proves to be as untraceable as Franco Seville or Giovanni Bragolin. The appearance of the Don Bonillo story completes the metamorphosis of the Curse of the Crying Boy from tabloid obscurity to fully fledged urban legend accessible to anyone via the World Wide Web. The lack of any factual basis for the Bonillo legend has done nothing. Fucking hell, there's more of this. Has done nothing to erode its popularity. Nearly done. The Crying Boy returns. In 2002, I was invited to comment on the story from an episode of the reality TV series Scream Team. Inspired by the success of Most Haunted, this plucked 6 young people from hundreds of hopefuls, sent them out in a large silver bus to travel around the British Isles investigating legends, curses and haunted places. The premise was to encourage skeptics and believers in the group to resolve each other's puzzle by drawing upon the expertise of assorted experts. For the Curse of the Crying Boy, the team was dispatched to Wigan, Lancashire, where the owners of a transport cafe, Eddie and Marion Brockley, had recently suffered a disastrous fire. The local media linked this to what they claimed was one of the last surviving copies of the print. It had survived the cafe blaze and remained hanging on the blackened wall, untouched by smoke or fire. Eddie, it emerged, was a typically bluff northern pragmatist. He believed the link was pure coincidence, but his wife was less certain. She had heard of similar fires associated with the crying boy and refused to allow the offending Prince, a Zinkison, back into the caff. Although the couple were largely ambivalent about the idea of a curse, they played along with the TV show's plan. Then along came the sceptical journalist who did his best to place the story in its true context. My contribution provided over a hearty full English breakfast summarised it. Imagine saying you had a full English but not telling people what was on it. That's disgraceful journalism, isn't it?
I wonder if anyone recognises the reference. If Will Greenlee was here, he'd go on to spend paragraphs explaining the history of the full English, ingredients you'd find on it, the debate on hash browns or black pudding. Can you have a full English without black pudding, and why the answer is no? What?
Bubble and squeak.
That's different. Look. This is like saying, "Oh, did you know Jack is short for John?"
The place I go to for breakfast, you can have hash browns or bubble and squeak.
That is again. That's like saying, "Oh, Jack is short for John." It's a separate meal. Bubble and squeak goes with sausages.
It goes down well with breakfast. Stop it. You don't knock it till you tried it.
Is the cafe run by Polish? Are they like, hey, nope. We give you fried cabbage with your full English?
Proper, good old fashioned British truck stop cafe.
I don't know, mate. This sounds like a Midlands thing to me.
Alphabet cat, bubble and squeak goes well with the breakfast.
Jury's out.
Well, go on then. All right then, Hobbit. Bubble and squeak or hash browns. Hash browns don't belong on there.
Yeah, what is a hash brown? Why do people go, oh, I'm going to put a hash brown on my full English?
It's Yank. It's a Yank thing, isn't it? It's a Yank import. It's the Yanks taking over our breakfast.
Look, I'll have fried bread with my full English. That's simple as, okay? Look, you're going to have a lot of grease from the lard and the bacon and all the other things you got frying in the pan. You need something to soak it up. Oh, do you want toast with yours? Yeah, but soak it in the pan. There, fried bread.
Yeah.
It's delicious. I once went to... now, this is another thing to explain to the youth of today. Yeah. There was this glorious place called British Home Stores, which would have worked well, except for the shitbag board of directors who were like, yeah, we're just going to steal the pension fund. Now, British Home Stores was a place where you could buy tat I wasn't interested in, but more importantly than that, it was a place where you could go and get the BHS breakfast. And it was a buffet, full English, and it had all the ingredients one would expect to find in a full English, and you could have a 6-piece, 8, 10, 12-piece. So one day I decided my 10-piece was going to be 5 slices of fried bread, 3 black puddings, a tomato, and a bit of bacon. Because I could do that. And people, my chums with me, it's like, are you sure you got enough fried bread? It's like, yeah, I didn't feel like splurging on the 12-piece. I do love fried bread. It is good stuff.
So anyway,
I was full for the rest of the day after that.
He had his full English. We've had I think we're gonna have to go extra to do the vegetable lamb of Tartary, because I've got to hear your...
Yeah, we get it, Frefforth. You don't like spicy words, and you don't like black pudding. You're a big girl's blouse. You're going to go to bed with a glass of Ovaltine if Mummy permits.
Right, I'll finish this off so we can get to the Tartary lamb. Yeah, anyway, it goes into the calf.
I'm sorry, Frith.
Goes into the calf, speaks to a medium. The medium regurgitates the car crash story. So early last year, Sheffield Star carried a lead in an article on my research.
Important full English question that's just pertinent to what you're reading.
Yeah.
Would you consider eggy bread to be part of a full English?
Hobbit, I've got a better question for you. What country do you think has a crying boy fan club?
Is it Wales?
It's the Dutch.
Oh, the Dutch are scum. Oh, I've got a drop. I need to put it in the thing. You carry on with your story, and it'll still be staircase wit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
According to Wikipedia, Giovanni Bragolin, the artist, fled to Spain after the war, painting children from a local orphanage, which subsequently burnt down. So, a Google search throws up an interesting posting from Rodrigo Faria from Brazil, which attributes the painting to Spanish artist Giovanni Bragolin, and adds that feelings of terror and illness are always associated with his paintings. Faria says the prints were popular in Brazil during the 1980s. I've seen all the 28. I can assure you those paintings are representing dead children, he writes. They are filled with subliminal messages.
Well, I've got this folder in my Sounds What I've Done called /Pink News Reading /Fuck Brutus.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to question Faust about that. Your mate Faust.
He's no friend of mine.
Another Brazilian adds that Bragolin appeared on a popular Brazilian TV channel where he admitted to making an evil pact with the devil to sell his paintings. His advice was, please, if you have one of these paintings, throw it away right now. Like other enduring modern legends, the curse of the crying boy is alive or well. And
you know you're talking about the Dutch crying boy fan club?
Yeah.
But they're Dutch. They're used to suffering.
Oh, I've been waiting to use that one for years.
Since we've only got 10 minutes, I'll just get...
10 minutes?
Yeah.
What the hell have we been doing? Where does the time go? We should do a Fortean episode about how time is not linear.
Should we just go from the wiki of the vegetable lamb of Tartary? I'll get the picture.
Vegetable lamb or Tartary just sounds so weird.
It sounds like a sauce, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So,
I should have played this one at the beginning.
I do have an artist representation of the vegetable lamb of Tartary.
Whilst you're loading up, I've got a sound clip which we should have played at the beginning of the show.
Not now! Please do not say fuck! I'll bugger! And...
So, right, I'll go from the wiki rather than doing the long-winded Fortean episode. What have you got one for...
I just got one for the end of the show. Friffer's gonna love this one.
No, you're not.
It's more than 5 seconds long. I can't use it. Never mind. You know all I'm on about, don't you?
Right, so the vegetable lamb of Tartary, which with the Latin is Agnes. I'll put the fucking hell. Hobbit's gone.
Don't mind me. Just carry on. I'm sorry.
Here you go, Fraser. You can have a flick. It's in the back chat.
What the fuck is that?
That's the vegetable lamb of Tartary.
It's an impaled lamb.
So, it's a legendary zoophyte of Central Asia, once believed to grow sheep as its fruit.
What the hell is a
It's believed the sheep were connected to the plant by an umbilical cord and grazed the lands around the plant. When all accessible foliage was gone, both the plant and the sheep died. The underlying legend is the cotton plant, which was an unknown in Northern Europe before the Norman conquest of Sicily.
It's not the first time I've heard stories about a meat plant.
Yeah. Well, it's not. It's a vegetable plant.
Oh, yeah, yes, but I mean, but its fruit is meaty.
Yeah.
There was a science fiction story, I think it might have been Bill the Intergalactic Hero, and in it there's, he's just got this genetic... So anyway, plants the seed, and within minutes it grows, and there's these melons with ham inside them, and because it's grown so quickly, the steam makes the melons explode, and it's got, like, boiled ham.
So, In his book, The Vegetable Lamb of Tartary, Henry Lee describes the legendary lamb as believed to be both a true animal and a living plant. However, he states that some writers believe the lamb to be a fruit of a plant, sprouting forward from melon-like seeds. Others, however, believe the lamb to be a living member of the plant that once separated from it would perish. The vegetable lamb was believed to have blood, bones and flesh of that of a normal lamb. It was connected to the earth by a stem, similar to an umbilical cord that propped the lamb up above ground. The cord could flex downward, allowing the lamb to feed on the grass and plants surrounding it. Once the plants were within reach were eaten, the lamb died. It could be eaten once dead, and its blood supposedly tastes sweet like honey. Its wool was said to be used by the native people of its homeland to make head coverings and other articles of clothing. The only carnivorous animals attracted to the lamb plant, other than humans, were wolves. So the Greek historian Herodotus wrote of the trees in India, the fruit whereof is a wool exceeding in beauty and goodness. That of sheep. The natives make their clothes from this tree wool. So it probably
I thought he was talking about cotton.
Yeah, I think that is what they're talking about. So there is mention of a similar plant in Jewish folklore as early as AD 436. This tree was called the Yehuda, was like a lamb in form and sprouted from the earth connected to a stem. Those who went hunting there, Yehuda, could only harvest the creature by severing it from its stem with arrows or darts. Once the animal was severed, it died, and its bones could be used in divination and prophetic ceremonies. An alternative version of the legend tells of the Yehuda, a human-shaped plant connected to the earth from a stem attached to its navel. The Yehuda was believed to be aggressive, though, grabbing and killing any creature that wandered too close. Like the Baramets, it too died once severed from its stem. The Minorite? So what the fuck's a Minorite? Do you know what a Minorite is, Hobbit?
No, carry on. Oh, it's like a mineral?
No, it must be. The Minorite friar, Odoric of Pordenone. Must be a particular branch.
Well, friar, right? So it must be a rank of friar. So it's like a lesser friar, maybe. No,
I think Minorite. No, I think Minorite would be his order, wouldn't it? I think.
Maybe, yeah, it could be.
Upon recalling first hearing of the vegetable lamb, he told of trees on the shore of the Irish Sea with gourd-like fruits that fell into the water and became birds called barnacles. Not to be confused with barnacles. He's referring to a legendary plant animal known as the barnacle tree, which was believed to drop ripened fruit into the sea near the Orkney Islands. The ripened fruit would then release barnacle geese that would live in the water, growing to mature geese. The alleged existence of this fellow plant animal was accepted as an explanation for migrating. Is JMK gonna get a first train up to Orkney? Is it set his dog on the barnacle geese? In his work.
So wait. Who do we call the fucking RSPB or the Royal Protection for Plants now?
Or Gardener's Question time. In his work, the Shui Yang, or water sheep, and the Agnus Scythius, or vegetable lamb, Gustav Schlegel points to Chinese legends of the water sheep as an inspiration for the legend of the vegetable lamb of Tartary. Much like the vegetable lamb, the water sheep was believed to... Who'd win in a fight, the vegetable lamb or the water sheep? There's only one way to find out. Was believed to be both plant and animal, and tales of his existence placed it near Persia. It was connected to the ground by a stem, and if the stem was severed, it would die. The animal was protected from aggressors by enclosure built around it, and by armoured men yelling and beating drums. Its wool was also said to be used for fine clothing and headdresses. In turn, the origin of water sheep is an explanation for sea silk. I don't know what sea... Ever heard of sea silk?
No. That's new to me.
It's an extremely fine, rare, valuable fabric that is made from the long silky filaments or byssus secreted by a gland in the foot of pen shells. Don't even know what a pen shell is.
No.
So, you know, we've talked before about the chain, history being written and stuff like that. Do you think this stuff was true, or it's, just old people were like, duh, like it's a bit. Because
I don't believe that. I don't believe the theory that they're all idiots and they were just like, this was just explanations for, things we say now. Oh, that's just bird migration.
Yeah,
I think they would have known that, right? I don't believe they said, "Whoa, where did the sheep come from? It must be sprung out of a plant." Nah.
Well, I mean, we find out. We find out every week on this show that people have travelled further and further back in time than we were ever told, aren't we?
Well, yeah, but I mean, this is interesting because this is very similar to the alchemical stuff, actually. That
Water sheep was in PewDiePie's Minecraft videos, apparently.
Yeah. No, this idea of plants spawning animals isn't new. This is Plato, theory of forms, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, was it Herodotus? I mean, Herodotus weren't some was he?
Well,
I mean,
that's what we would say today. Well, they're idiots.
Oh, it's just in the olden times, so he's obviously a isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it. Like,
so you've got. Okay, then. So you got Herodotus talking about it. AD 36, the Jews are talking about it. You've got a Minorite friar. I mean, friars. I mean, the monks. They were the intelligentsia, so we're told, aren't they?
Well, supposedly.
Apart from this one, who's just some sort of one, is he?
Yeah, aye.
Who else? You got Gustav Schlegel talking about it. Talking about the Chinese water sheep. I mean, it just seems less plausible that this stuff happened and that people weren't just As
I say, this is interesting because it kind of like ties in with the alchemy stuff that I've been about, and that goes into some of this stuff as well. Oh, what was it called? The Vaya manuscript, is it?
What's that then?
Something. Oh, it's a manuscript that's like uncoded, unknown. It's in a language no one understands. And it has these kind of drawings of plants with animals and stuff like that coming out of them. Weird shit like that. Like, yeah, I can't remember exactly. It begins with a V. It's
not Vedic, no.
Maybe.
So here's another one, the tofu lamb. I don't know.
I'll get it for next week. Yeah, but yeah, it's basically that kind of stuff as well. Like that was, an anomaly in history, and then this it has pictures of this, very thing. So it's like I don't know. Like, we're
That was me pushing wrong button.
Oh, was that with you?
Yeah. In other news, we'll have to do another science episode maybe next week. But I've got something planned for that.
Oh, you got some more, have you? Fraser, you're doing your alchemy at some point, aren't you?
Yeah. And then this might tie into that. So
right.
Stay tuned. But yeah, this is very similar to that. Yeah, it's interesting. Theory of forms. If anyone's ever read up on what that is.
This kind of like you haven't listened to our fairy. You haven't listened to the fairy episode, have you, Fraser?
No.
It also sounds a bit like because basically what the Fae would do is they'd get a cow and they'd swap it for a changeling. So this cow, like the meat was tasteless, it didn't give milk and stuff like that. It sounds a bit like the kind of changeling things that the fairies used to do.
See, this ties into the alchemy thing by a process called Plato and that we're talking about called biogeneration. And that's basically life from non-living matter. So basically, like taking. Well, I mean, you hear it in evolutionary terms every day in your school textbooks. How did life start? Well, some amino acids, got zapped by lightning. Life created out of nothing. I mean, it is the paradox, right? We as living beings are alive. We are different from, non-living matter because it doesn't, do the 7 things that life does. So it moves, eats, reproduces. Oh, what are the 7 things? I forgot. This is going back to like year 9 bloody biology. Yeah, the 7 things. That's what I remember. And basically, yeah, non-living matter doesn't do that, but yet we are supposedly made up of non-living matter.
The idea that life comes from non-life is just patently absurd. Before there's even life in matter.
But this is this is the thing, Hobbit. This is what they're saying. It's not that absurd.
It is.
Unless
it absolutely is.
Well, here's the thing. Unless everything is either alive, right, and has the ability to spawn life, right? Because,
before life incarnates, it exists as information.
Right, so yeah, you're talking about the theory of forms, and aren't you? You're alluding to that. It's already.
I'm saying that prior to like the existing of, you could say, the DNA is.
But Hobbit,
that's still flesh.
How do you get life out of non-living matter?
You don't. Life transforms the matter. You can say, these inert substances like the hydrogen and nitrogen are combined to form ammonia, which is then used as artificial fertilizer, and that forms life. And you could say, there's life from non-life, but the fact is, it took life to transmute that into a living, breathing form. It wasn't until Mr. Farshhaber. The Farshhaber process. Someone in the chat will say, you're referring to this about how artificial ammonia was. Is it ammonia or is it? Yeah, it is ammonia. I'm just thinking there's like you can make what's NO? No, is it ON3? Anyway, point being, ammonia is nitrogen, hydrogen, and it doesn't exist. Does it exist in nature?
NO3 is NO3 is nitrous oxide, isn't it?
Then I'm thinking of NH3, which is ammonia, and that you can make artificial fertilizer with it. But the point being is that life, as it said in Genesis, and it's true.
NH3 is ammonia interdimensional stuff.
First there was the word. Am I paraphrasing that? I probably am.
And the word was aardvark.
And then from that you've got the life incarnating into flesh.
Right, I've still got a load more stuff to get through on this. Earlier versions of the legend tell of the lamb as a fruit springing from a melon or gourd-like seed, perfectly formed as if born naturally. As time passed, this idea was replaced with the notion that the creature was indeed both a living animal and a living plant. Schlegel, in his work on various legends of the vegetable lamb, recounts the lamb being born without its horns, but with 2 puffs of white curly hair instead. The 14th century book, The Travels of Sir John Mandeville, is credited with bringing the legend to public attention in Europe. It describes a strange gourd-like fruit grown in Tartary. Once ripe, the fruit was cut open, revealing what looked like lamb in flesh and blood.
What that is? Is that big tract of land that no one knew anything about until like 1900?
Catman in the Fortean Words chat has shared a pertinent image to this, so I'll just post it here so you can see it too.
Yeah.
If you've got time, you can share it on the thing.
So what's this then? Oh, that's a cotton plant, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And
wall of text but Jesus Christ, what have you been copying? Fucking chat.
Somebody blog posted about extraterrestrial life, so I thought that would be worth another show sometime.
Alright, okay. Nice.
Right. Where was I? So back to this. So once ripe, the fruit was cut open, revealed what looked like a lamb in flesh and blood, but lacking wool. The fruit and the lamb could then be eaten. Friar Odoric of Friuli, much like Mandeville, travelled extensively and claimed to have heard of gourds in Persia that, when ripe, opened to contain lamb-like beasts. In the Renaissance, the lamb of Tartary was a frequent object of philosophical and botanical debate. It became an important heuristic to discuss the natural order of things and the Aristotelian scale of beings.
Yeah.
Aristotelian? Yeah. scale of beings. Mid-16th century, Sigismund von Herberstein, that's a quality name, that, isn't it? Who in 1517 and 1526 was the ambassador to the emperors Maximilian I and Charles V, presented much more detailed account of the Barometz in his notes on Russia. He claimed to have heard from too many credible sources to doubt the lamb's existence, and gave the location of the creature as being near the Caspian Sea, between the Jake and the is it Jake? Jaick. Is that the John? The John and Volga rivers. The creature.
Hey, that's the point. So if Jake is the shortening of John, what the hell is Jackie?
The creature grown from the melon-like seeds described what was said to grow 2.5 feet, resembling a lamb in most ways except a few. It was said to have blood but not true flesh, as it more closely resembled that of a crab. Unlike normal lamb, its hooves were said to be made of parted hair. It was the favourite food of wolves and other animals. So there's a few commonalities here. The thing grows from like a melon type seed. So a lot of people are saying the same sort of things, aren't they?
Well, this is it. It's like, but people were dumb and they didn't understand.
Well, you know, so in 1698, Sir Hans Sloane comes on and is "I fucking love science" horse and claimed a Chinese tree fern, Sabotum barometz, was the origin of the myth. Sloane found the specimen in a Chinese cabinet of curiosities he acquired. The lamb is produced by removing the leaves from a short length of the fern's woolly rhizome. When the rhizome is inverted, it fancifully resembles a woolly lamb, with the legs being formed by the severed petiole bases. Don't you fucking love science? There you go.
Alright, okay, so does this fern exist? What's it called? Let's have a look.
Chibotum barometz.
Or
the golden chicken fern, or the woolly fern.
Golden.
So basically, you chop the legs a bit and then turn it upside down. You chop the stalks a bit.
Okay, I think is that it?
The woolly fern.
Is this Chibotum baronet? Yeah. So it looks like that, right? That does not. I'll put it in the back chat. Yeah. Supposedly that's what it looks like.
Yeah, that looks just like a lamb. You just can't tell the difference, can you?
Yeah, that's right. People stupid, right?
I bet. Can you see? Can you see the lamb? I haven't put it up yet. Or are you going to wait till I put it up on stream?
I'll wait until it's up on stream.
Right. There's another one as well, like with fucking.
Put it up now.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, that looks like
chicken.
A lamb.
So why don't I say it looks like a lamb if it looks like a chicken?
Your guess is good as mine.
Myth busted.
Myth busted. Yeah, there we go, guys. It's not a lamb; it's a chicken. If they had just said chicken, it would have been all right.
Burn it with fire.
I bet the Chinese eat that fucking hair and all, don't they?
Oh, bet.
I tell you what, tribbles would be a godsend for the Chinese.
Oh, they'd fucking love it. Poking them with sticks, making them scream. They'd fucking love it, wouldn't they?
They'd soon find out if they could put a fistula in them.
Is it chicken in the woods? No, this is a fern alphabet cat.
This is supposedly what these people were supposedly seeing. This thing that looked like a lamb, but actually looks nothing like a lamb. It's just it's hairy, right? It's just like fur, but I'm not seeing any like cut out ones to like.
Yeah. In 1698, Sir Hans Sloane, German scholar and physician Engelbert Kempfer accompanied an embassy to Persia in 1683 with the intention of locating the lamb. After speaking with native inhabitants and finding no physical evidence of the lamb plant, Kempfer concluded it was nothing but legend. So, if you go to a town and you can't find the place you're looking for, it's just legend. However, he observed the custom of removing an unborn lamb from its mother's womb in order to harvest the soft wool, and believed the practice to be a possible source of the legend. He speculated further that museum specimens of the fetal wool could be mistaken for a vegetable substance.
Okay. Well, yeah, but sorry, but have farmers not realised over the countless millennia of breeding sheep that lambs don't come out with fucking wool, right?
So yeah,
that's it's like, well, these guys were such idiots. They thought the sheep came out with wool. It's like, we'll just harvest it in the womb. Why not? Like, okay. All right. Unless something drastically has happened to sheep in the last 500 years.
You know what's Fortean about sheep and cloning?
What?
Do you remember Dolly the sheep?
Yeah.
The thing is, when the bloke who did it, who cloned it, and they were like, "Oh, congratulations on making the world's first clone," it's like, what are you on about? I'm not the world's first person to have cloned it. I'm doing this because it's got desirable traits. Cloning's gone back at least to the 1940s. They were cloning rabbits.
You don't want your sheep looking all different, do you?
Yeah, but it's just like, they made this big thing about oh, Dolly was the sheep, first cloned animal in human history. It's like, you lying sacks of shit. They were doing it in 1940s Germany.
Yeah.
They were doing it with rabbits for some reason.
Bit weird. Well, but why,
anyway.
Why clone a sheep? An animal so famed for its uniqueness.
Well, I assume he was doing it because he was probably studying telomeres. And the thing about clones is, you can get an old animal and clone it and it's like a new body, but the clone doesn't live that long because the telomeres are just too frayed. And that was the part of the research into anti-aging thing, because it's like, okay, even if you do clone and you got yourself a juvenile body, what do you do about telomere decay? So
what are your telomeres then?
Right, so on your DNA, you've got these bits at the end called telomeres, and they're
fray as you get older.
They're the bits responsible for I was going to say cloning, duplication of your DNA strands to make new cells. And every time they clone, your telomere chains get shorter and shorter, and it's why everyone has a lifetime.
Oh, okay then. But these ones fray, so they get shorter quicker.
Well, yeah, because it already starts out at that length, so the body is, even though it's a new being, it's still the same age as whatever you call it as.
Here's literally a good analogy. Imagine you got a VHS tape, right, and it's a video nasty, and it's been copied from tape to tape numerous times, and you get a brand new Memorex E180, and it's like, right, I'm going to copy this video nasty because it's been played a load of time, and that bit where, the money shot happens is a bit blurred now. So you got your two tape machines together, and it's a brand new Memorex tape, opposed to the tatty old one, which has been in hundreds of strangers' VHS machines, and you're recording it. But the thing is,
apparently the guy who found the chicken fern invented chocolate milk.
Ugh. What do you?
Legend.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Someone before has gone what would be good flavouring for this milk?
Wait,
chocolate.
Is this guy even real? Is this guy a real person?
He's not real. He's wearing a green hoodie. He's not real.
Just the analogy being that
Sloane.
You can.
So he's just looked up Sloane. Apparently, Sloane invented chocolate milk.
You can what? So you're telling me he's Mr. Paxton? I've invented
Paxton.
a banana. I had to spare 5 minutes, so I invented the banana.
Oh, let's look up Hans Sloane.
The Cavendish.
If it's going to be like that.
But just briefly, the analogy of the thing.
Voyage. Am I allowed to? Do you want me to say Caribbean? Or do you want me to say Caribbean?
Call it the proper thing, Caribbean. Now, the thing with the VHS, you can make the copy, but the thing is, even though you've got a brand new tape, it's still going to be a dodgy copy because the way that the analog copying worked. It just, every copy puts more and more distortion into it.
So, anyway. Sloane. Let's clear this one up quick. Sloane was elected to the Royal Society in 1685. In 1687, he became a Fellow of the College of Physicians. That's not what we want. The Natural History Museum lists Sloane as the inventor of drinking chocolate with milk. However, according to historian James Delaburgo, the Jamaicans were brewing a hot beverage brewed from the shavings of freshly harvested cacao boiled with milk and cinnamon as far back as 1495, 1494. And they were having peanut butter with it, weren't they?
I mean, they're just like... Someone saying this is like, oh, we invented peanut butter.
So basically, I don't think he invented it, he popularised it, because by the 1750s, a Soho grocer named Nicholas Sanders claimed to be selling Sloane's recipe as a medicinal elixir, perhaps making Sir Hans Sloane milk chocolate the first brand name milk chocolate drink. By the 19th century, the Cadbury brothers sold things of drinking chocolate, whose trade cards also invoked Sloane's recipe. Okay. So he had a recipe then.
It's bollocks. It's just absolute.
Oh, here you go.
I mean,
so the natives who invented it were drinking it with water, but Sloane didn't like the sound of that, so he decided to put milk in it.
Yeah, but you can imagine someone made a chocolate cake and gone, oh, you know what goes together well? Cream, sugar, and cocoa powder. This is It's like when a certain demographic claims we was peanut butter inventors, and it's like, so you're telling me that Babylonians or Egyptians with a pestle and mortar didn't like go, oh, shall we crush these peanuts up and make a paste from it?
Huh? How about this one then? Some sources credit Daniel Peter as the inventor in 1875 using condensed milk. Other sources point out that milk was added to chocolate centuries earlier in some countries. But Daniel Peter was a chocolatier and entrepreneur who founded Peter's Chocolate, a neighbour of Henri Nestle.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I wonder what happened there. I wonder what that story.
There seems to be some people in The Guardian disputing the claim that Joseph Paxton invented everything. The court process, which allowed wrought iron to be mass-produced from scrap iron for the first time, has long been attributed to the British financier turned ironmaster Henry Court. However, no, Jamaicans invented it. The famous metallurgists, the Jamaicans.
It reminds me of that joke. Do you remember the guy on Goodness Gracious Me, the one who used to say everything was invented by Indians?
I hated that show.
I did hate that show, but
what's the blandest thing you've got on the menu? Scampi. We will have scampi. Or the one they're in church and they say,
4 rounds of bread.
Or they go into church and it's like, oh, these communion wafers are a bit bland. Here, I've got some mango chutney. And I'm like, fuck you. Deport immediately. Immediately deport Sanjeev Bhaskar, 6 million rupee man. Why don't you go and be like your ancestors and shit on the plane? Oh, but anyway, Henry Court did invent the process. He didn't invent the process. No, it was simultaneously invented by 76 black Jamaican metallurgists. No names, no citations. At an ironworks near Morant Bay in Jamaica.
Here's the vegetable lamb. You know, I'll show you this, and you're going to go, fuck me. That is definitely a lamb. Hold on.
Wait. What have you found? Have you actually found the mythical?
This is it's an illustration of it, and you're gonna go, fucking hell, that looks just like a lamb.
Is this extra time added to injury for telling me that Jack is a contraction of John?
No, it's just there you go, Hobbit.
Well, okay, right.
That and a lamb side by side. Like, you're not gonna fucking know, are you?
Do you remember, like, a year or two ago when AI programs, you'd ask them to draw something, and this is what they'd come up with?
ChatGPT, draw me a lamb on its back.
I mean, these days, the AI even correctly puts the correct number of fingers onto a person's hand.
Yeah. But yeah, just that and a lamb. What's the difference?
Just comes out sometimes can't designate between a body and a finger.
So there we go. So that's the vegetable lamb of Tartary. I think we've done that one to death. But yeah, is it a vegetable? Is it a lamb? Who knows?
This will come back up in the alchemy thing. So yeah. It seems very similar to something mentioned there as well. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
But it's interesting that this stuff's about, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's interesting, you know, there's all this, well, what they're now calling myths, right? Oh, these guys all believed in this myth, right?
Yeah.
And it's just you're calling them idiots, and yet that they had to have some like foreknowledge to bring us to where we are today, right?
Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus is no, I don't know where I'm going.
I don't know where I'm going. Oh, I just found a new whole continent. Yeah. Oh, we believe the world's a globe. I'm gonna sail this way. Oh, look, I found a new continent. This place has got Indians, right? Oh, they're not the same Indians as the one before, so we'll just call them Red Indians.
And it's like, we're not going to name the continent after Columbus, although there is a Columbia. Well, we'll name it after Amerigo Vespucci. Yes, welcome to the continent.
Is that what it's named after? Amerigo Vespucci.
Vespucci. So, yes, we're going to name it North and South Vespuccia. Oh, sorry, America.
Is that? I thought it was America was some kind of like pagan kind of goddess.
Amerigo Vespucci. I'm pretty sure I spelled it right. Yeah, Amerigo Vespucci. Amerigo Vespucci, 1451, 1512, Italian merchant, explorer and navigator from the Republic of Florence, whose name the term America is derived.
What?
Right?
What? Why would the guy... Right, did he ever go to America?
Between 1497 and 1504, Vespucci participated in at least 2 voyages in the age of discovery, first on behalf of Spain and then for Portugal. In 1503 and 05.
CNN got Snopes, like our favourite people.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, not Snopes. They got what's it called? The Twitter facts and community. What's it called?
Oh, Twitter notes. Community notes.
Twitter notes. They got community noted. So, CNN, the planet saw its hottest day ever this week. The record will be broken again and again. Readers added context they thought people might want to know. This record is not the planet's hottest day ever. It better describes the highest global temperature lately, based on recorded data since 1979. Earth's global average temperature has been higher multiple times. Today's global temperature is well below the historic mean.
Community notes is the anti-Snopes.
Yeah.
Wait, how would they know that? How would they know it's lower than the Earth's average? It's 4 billion years old supposedly. How would we know?
No. No, because they community note. They said it's based on data since 1979. So.
Right. Yeah, that's what they're saying. But it is. But they're saying it isn't that, and we know it's been hotter before. But how do we know that? Are we going geological record, or what are they saying? Or the medieval warm period? It's weird that they're saying, "Oh, we knew the Earth was hotter in the medieval warm period than it is now."
Well, what about that? Because I used to watch all the old dinosaur programs. What about the droughts that happened back in the day? The Earth used to get pretty hot back in the day, didn't they?
Fucking vapor canopy theory, maybe.
Just seen a meme. Just seen a meme. So my daughter tells me you're a Star Wars fan. Which one's your favourite? The Last Jedi. You have exactly 10 seconds to get the fuck out of my house.
I have no daughter.
Kids these days are growing up with fucking Last Jedi.
Yeah, fucking hell, poor kids.
There's a new Australian $2 coin. It's absolute work of art.
Did you see that? Did you see about the black pound?
This has got to come up with the next Ian cryptozoology thing, because I think I found a missing link creature here. It's depicting something. Well, it's some sort of hominid, but
Is that a dwarf from Lord of the Rings? Is that what? Is it
the same hominid? Is it the same crypto that left the white powder in the in
the White House?
It's one that's seen at Dreamtime where it goes Rama Rama after huffing petrol. I think they're called Yowies.
Yowies, yeah.
Yes. They're not to be messed with.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Coco Lee, the singer of Mulan, has died at 48.
Oh no.
Safe and effective.
I didn't notice that. There are a lot of people dying recently in their 40s, aren't there? Weird that.
Safe and effective.
Bit odd. Someone else died today, wasn't it? I think fucking someone famous. Was it someone famous?
Oh shit! I'll tell you, there is a Fortean death that happened recently. You know, Hobbit, do you know Julian Sands? He was in,
No.
you remember a horror film called Warlock with Richard E. Grant in it? He was in...
That sounds like a film I should have seen, but no.
Hold on, let me find his IMDb, because I'm sure you know him from something. He's a British actor.
Whilst you're looking that up for Katsuhiro Harada of Tekken fame, he accuses Emmanuel Macron of trying to escape the burden of responsibility by blaming violent video games.
So he's been missing 411. He disappeared, couldn't find him, remains have turned up.
Oh dear. Right, okay. Well, just where he left him? Like in his shed? Like, where was he? When did he turn up?
He was in an America. He was in a. Because I don't know whether you know, but the 411s happen in the parks,
National
don't
parks.
they? The national park. He was in a national park and went missing.
Skinwalkers. Yeah, Skinwalkers got him.
I think it's fairies.
Fucking. You ever seen the Skinwalker thing? The bipedal fucking walking things that captured on the cameras in these national parks.
No,
Have you seen those things?
I've seen a
With
few
no arms?
Skinwalker photos. I don't really trust videos and stuff. He was in the Naked Lunch, Hobbit.
Oh God, that's a horrible film.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Is that the one where he's typing on the typewriter and it actually turns into a cockroach and then its hands and feet? Oh fuck no! I mean, Existence was also kind of weird like that, but
Boxing Helena, have you seen that? I'm trying to think.
No.
I'm sure. I'm
God,
sure you.
Naked Lunch was fucked up. I couldn't watch all of it. It was too much.
Okay then. He's Warlock's probably about the only one that I know him from. I never knew that he played Jarrell in Smallville.
I watched it. That's the not James Bond, Superman show, right?
Yeah. Gotham, you won't have watched that. I think I'm getting.
Oh, it's a Cronenberg movie. God, no wonder.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he did a recent film called Sins of the Future or something like that. Apparently, at the Cannes Film Festival, half of the audience left, and some of them were vomiting. I watched it, and I was just like, "This is absolutely disgusting." And I didn't know at the time it was a Cronenberg movie, but afterwards I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, if I'd have known, I'd have just stopped watching. Like, fucking pseudo-intellectuals go like, ooh, video games actually a really high
He was
film.
DeFalco
really
in Call of Duty Black Ops 2. If anybody knows him from that one. I can't think of anything that...
Oh shit, there's been another one. Fucking, another guy on a plane. Have you seen the guy on a plane? The English guy. He's fucking went mental as well. What the fuck?
Oh, really?
I saw James May on the plane wearing a Burger King hat.
You seen that meme, have you? It's him and the woman side by side. Said no one ever called us liars. He was in the Killing Fields. I bet if you've seen that one.
No.
He's been in a lot of stuff, but I don't think you would have seen much of it. I bet, to be honest.
No.
Arachnophobia. You seen that one?
Yes, I have.
He was Dr. James Atherton in that. I think he's the guy that dies at the start, maybe.
Oh, you know that I was saying about how you can use Wi-Fi to make three-dimensional scans of people's houses, right? Yeah, there's a thing just on Twitter. This video shows how AI turns Wi-Fi routers into cameras that can see people through walls. By the way, is it router or router? Because
have you seen Dougal?
It's used to guide routes, right? Doodle?
Dougal and the Blue Cat. I think it's like a recent-ish what's it called? What's the thing with Dylan and Dougal the dog? Magic
Oh,
Roundabout.
but
Magic
yeah.
Roundabout. It's a recent Magic Roundabout film. It is supposed to be quite good.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought that finished in the 1970s.
Interdimensionalist says it's router. Americans say router.
Yeah, I was going to say it's root because the thing is,
Router is yank.
It's yeah, but the router is like a sort of like a drill thing you
What did
use
you
for
think
carving.
to Videodrome?
Porn.
Yeah.
It's
had
just
Debbie Harry in
disgusting porn. All I remember is just the scene of the Jap lady, and she's got a statue of Buddha, but actually it's a jade dildo.
I don't even remember that. Like, it's about snuff movies, Hobbit. I don't know how you'd remember that from it.
It's like the beginning scene, and then later on it gets worse, and I'm just like, I'm not watching this anymore.
Well, I heard, Mark. Oh, is it that old? I thought it was recent-ish. Because I think it had a release like 10 years ago or something. Because I used to listen to Mark Kermode and Simon Mayo, and he was talking about a release of it. So I don't know whether it had someone clean the print up or something. Then.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I posted the video of the AI turning like three-dimensional maps of what routers can see. Wireless mesh networks.
Is there a video of the British guy kicking off?
Yeah, there was.
You put it anywhere.
I will get it. Fine.
So it can turn all. So it's like Wi-Fi. Then it's not a particular brand or anything.
No, it's just wireless signals. You remember I did the thing about the radar technology?
Yeah,
Radar Love.
Like
that's what.
But they always prime you for this, and so people then go, "Oh, that's bullshit," because I saw it in Batman.
Oh God, yeah. I was funny enough. A recent XCOM video I did, where I was talking about this bullshit. It makes as much sense as the Sin Chicken, like. Oh, we're going to do a bad murder on people, but as long as we post it like in The Simpsons, like Bart holding up the poster saying 9/11, it's like, Dad, can I buy this poster of the Twin Towers? It's only $9.11.
I'll put it in the back chat.
It's like, oh, we've absolved ourselves of doing any crime now because we post it, and this is like the Yellow Kitty show, Utopia. You know the plot behind Utopia?
No, but it's similar to the
you know the events between 2019 and 2023. That was done in
I believe it's called the Beer Bug.
The thing that
it's gone already, Fraser. Dead link.
What do you mean? No, it's there for me.
Something went wrong. Try reloading.
It's there for me.
I think it's probably gone as you were putting it up.
I never watched Utopia Pure now, but I was talking about it with Alphabet Cat and Lizard.
Let me have a look on my phone. It might just be. Well, Google.
I refuse to watch it because it's got torture in it.
Google is censoring it. Chrome won't show it.
Yeah, router is a machine tool type thing. Exactly. I use routers for carving words, and I use routers for network internet packets.
If I go back to the...
Oh shit! Yeah. No, it's not. It's not working on Chrome. Have blocked it.
Really?
Oh.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'm on Chrome, and it's working fine for me.
Oh, is it?
Give me the link. Is this the
one in the back chat? Yeah.
Okay, I'll click on it, and yeah, it's loading for me. But I'm using.
Is it because I'm not signed in?
Maybe.
Yes. If you're not signed in, you can't do it because Twitter changed their thing. Though you have to be signed in to access the content.
I showed the stuff earlier when we weren't signed in.
Oh, strange.
Yeah.
Oh,
anyway,
whilst we're on happenings in the plane, Ryanair flight going to Delhi. Man does a poo, not in the toilet. He doesn't take his poo to the loo. You'll never guess his surname or religion.
You just couldn't make it up there.
Oh shit! Yeah, it's telling me that page doesn't exist now.
Maybe I've got a cached version of it. That's why I see it. So like
Yeah,
in
same.
2
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
2 hours time, I'll click on it and it'll be like, yeah, it doesn't exist now.
It's working on my phone though, so I think it's just like something peculiar to Chrome.
If it's working on your phone but not your
Oh,
browser, it's probably different cache servers.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Let's try accepting all cookies, but not signing up. No, it's not going to play it. Something went wrong. Try reloading. That's what I keep getting. But anyway, another guy freaks out on the plane. What is? Who let all the lizards out?
That's it.
Who let the lizards out? Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah, but this guy had to be like tackled to the ground. Like he goes.
Did he?
fucking
Proper
steri-
fucking. Well, it's a
Yeah.
bloke, isn't it? The other one was a bird, wasn't it? Yeah, lizard people. Why isn't that?
What? Yeah. Why are people freaking out on planes about
Yeah.
people that aren't real, right?
Let's see what's trending. Lizard Man isn't on there. Go woke, go broke. He's trending in the United Kingdom. Let's see what that is.
Cache? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. A cache server. Oh, I'm happy calling it cache.
Have you heard Bud Light is now cheaper than water in stores now?
Cheaper than water, really.
Yeah.
Well, aren't they paying you to take it away? Well, essentially are, because there's it's cheaper for them to pay you to take it away because every time it's on shelves and in warehouses, they're having to pay for it to be stored.
Yeah. Bud Light are knackered, aren't they?
Yeah, well, good for them. Bud Light is like Carling, but with its depth of body and flavour removed.
I don't think I've ever knowingly drank Bud Light.
I drank an American Budweiser before, and I was disappointed.
I don't mind Bud. I like Bud. Used to be the thing we used to drink back in the day.
Yeah, but you want the proper Czech version. That's a good one.
Right, so I think we're done now, aren't we?
Okay. Well,
Yeah. I think so.
yeah. Teaser for next show. You're alien DNA life. Alamals.
Yeah. Night all.
Good night, everyone.
Stay spooky. Don't let the lizard men in green hoodies get you.
And remember.
Oh, no! Please do not say fuck! Oh, bugger! And
Supposed to do that at the start of it.
I know.
And if you do see a white powdery substance around, it's probably not left by the son of the president.
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
We disavow